And we're live. Doing it live.
Do it live.
11 minutes late. Sorry about that, folks. It's crazy around here these days, isn't it, son?
Oh, buddy. It's another beautiful day. A crazy busy day.
I
But a
didn't
beautiful day.
I didn't think we could cram more stuff into our schedule. And then we made this plan for what's coming in March.
and then he tried.
And it's like it's double.
I tried real hard.
I'm sleeping 4 hours a night, and I need to not sleep those 4 hours to get the work done. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
I need to be working 24 hours a day. I'm just gonna have to like mainline caffeine, pin my eyeballs open.
Yeah, we're both staying up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning every day. You know.
Last night was an early night for me. I got to bed by 4 a.m. The last 2 nights I was up till 5:30. So it's like going to bed at 5:30 and trying to get up at 9 is not like that's not happening. And I should be getting up at like, 8. But it's been crazy. There's a new promo code, GameLeap. All right, let's check that out. Janos with the new promo code. Let's see what it does. Well, we got it's the exact same rewards as we got for the last promo code, Raid Rewards. 10 brews, 1 energy pot refill, and 100K. I think it's exactly the same. I will take it. Thank you so much, Janos. That is fantastic. Hello, Burso, Premier Craft, Ian Godwin, Hawk Gaming, Burso, again, same idea. Same person, again. Burso. Hi, Burso. Hey, how you doing, Burso? Good to see you, Burso. Guys, 2 secrets and got Helicath. Sacreds, I'm assuming that's supposed to be. 2 sacreds and got Helicath. Any idea how to gear him? He is, in fact, phenomenal in every place. You can build him as a defensive nuker, which is kind of crazy. You can actually do that. Simultaneously, you can build him with high resistance and like speed, maybe even relentless gear to try to get around to his block damage and his shield more often. You can also speed tune him into a clan boss team. He's probably the most desirable block damage champion in the game. Even more than Demitha, because he's got an A1 weaken. So you want enough accuracy for him to land his A1 weaken, and he also counterattacks when his shield is up. So you got a lot of chances to land that weaken. And then he's got a 2-turn block debuffs shield. Not a block debuffs, block damage shield. Fantastic champion. He's who I use in my unkillable clan boss team. If you build him for the unkillable clan boss team, you may not be able to build him for all of those other things simultaneously. But I still run mine pretty fast. I run mine I think in my unkillable speed tune, he runs at like 265 or something. So he still runs fast enough to be usable everywhere. He's one of my favorite champions on my roster. Fantastic. Tom, good to see you. Sabik. Is that Kasel? Caveman, Great Dane in the house. Freaky Gamer. All right. Good to see you, Freak. How's the CVC going? I don't even know. This is the HH free to play, and apparently we're getting spanked, which is unfortunate. We also lost last week. My personal rewards on this are only tier 1, so that's, like we're still low. I don't know why, but we got spanked last week, and I need these Blood Shield rings desperately. I need Blood Shield rings. So I really hope we can pull it together and actually win. But I think that what happened last week was the clan saw who they were up against, and they're like, holy cow, we're up against the Hell Hades squad. Let's take them down. And they just all rallied, and they kicked our butts. And it might happen again, I mean, we have 1 win, and the clan we're going up against is level 13 and has 44 wins. So clearly we're outgunned. It's like we're all content creators, but that doesn't mean we have, we can't spend. We're all free to play. Yeah, so.
Excuses.
Yeah, right. Excuses. I managed to pull Eligaius today. I was more stoked about the second Painkeeper and second Coldheart. Yeah, Eligaius is not great. He's really underwhelming. He does have a couple of uses. Let me see if I can find him even. Oh, I'm sorry. Eligaius. Eligaius is Dark Elves. Where the heck is this guy? Elves. Where is Eligaius? I thought he was undead. Am I confusing him with somebody else? No, there he is. I was right. He's undead. And I was starting to think maybe he's Dark Elves. All right, so he has this skill. Attacks one enemy, puts the target's skills on cooldown. Puts all of their skills on cooldown. Also places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Okay, but here's the big helpful part. If the enemy team has any duplicates of the target champion, we'll also put all their skills on cooldown and place a block buffs debuff on them for 2 turns. There are 2 stages in undead faction crypts near the top. It's like 20 and 21 or 19 and 20, where you have double martyrs, and then they either with double Valkyries or they're alternated with double Valkyries. I think there's one where there's even a triple Valkyrie. So this one skill can lock out all 3 Valkyries in the wave, put everybody's skill on cooldown. So he is highly usable for those 2 stages of faction crypts. You also can actually use this skill against the Eternal Dragon. The Eternal Dragon is the only boss in the game that I know of where you can actually put the boss's skills on cooldown, and that can make the run a lot easier. So if you have an Eligaius, you can use him for those 2 uses. And other than that, I don't know how to use him. Hey, Sauce, good to see you. Joshua Lynch, today's the day. Hoax, good to see you. Neothin, good afternoon. Good to have you, buddy. Tanang, howdy. Hawk Gaming, any help for Dark Fae? Best champ I have is Coldheart. Yeah, I could do a really quick Dark Fae tutorial. Watch the video though. I have a good Dark Fae video. It'll take you through all of the details. Triple Sethalia in stage 20 faction wars. I didn't realize. I mean I don't know all the stages by heart, you know. Congrats on Archer. Thank you, Tulsi. Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't actually pulled her yet. I'm going to pull her during the CVC. I wanted to pull her before the stream and record it and stuff, but I just haven't had time today because we're doing crazy things here. NYC, good to see you, Adrian. All right. So yeah, really quickly on Dark Fae, I can't do it on this account. Let me go ahead and switch up to my main account. We'll do just a real quick Dark Fae tutorial for anybody who's struggling out there. But you should definitely watch. I have videos on every single Doom Tower champion. Boss. I always call them champions. Every single Doom Tower boss is covered. So go ahead, and if you're looking for help with any of the bosses, there's a video on the channel already. I'll probably redo some of them in the future simply because I've learned some things, and you know, I've got access to more champions, and when I did the videos, I got feedback on the videos. So, you know, I will update them at some point, but I think the Dark Fae video is only 2 rotations old, like 2 cycles of Dark Fae. So it wasn't for the last Dark Fae, but for the previous Dark Fae. So it's only, you know, I guess it's about 6 months old. Good evening, Suzanne. Good to see you. Shaggy. Alsafa. Jeff Culver, June Cho. Good to see everybody. All right, very quickly. This is Dark Fae in a nutshell. I haven't unlocked the highest Dark Fae, but here's one. Yeah, so this is where we are today. This is hard mode, floor 40. Okay. Now, don't worry about Ninja. Don't worry about this team at all, really. There's a concept here, right? The concept is you want to speed tune your team. And there are 3 things, basically. You want to be able to nuke out your team in one shot, right? You want to be speed tuned so your copies can't break in. And then you want to be able to crowd control the boss. You also have to get through the waves. So I guess there's 4 things. Get through the waves, and then in the boss fight, there are 3 things, right? So the idea here is that Vizix, Deacon, Ninja, all the turn meter control that you see here will work both in the waves and against the boss. Ninja's job is to nuke out everybody. Vizix's job is turn meter control, but also to not be so tanky that you can't kill her. Ninja needs to be able to kill Vizix. She's the tankiest. He also needs to be able to kill Deacon Armstrong, who's very tanky. So you can come in here with a squishier team. That's fine. You can definitely do that. But this is the team that I'm currently running. I don't even know when I built this team, but it works. So let's just go ahead and jump in, and I'll give you a quick outline. Now, I didn't show you the AI, but basically what's going to happen is they're going to use all their skills to burn through the first wave really quickly, and then they're going to A1 cycle on round 2 so that they have all their skills available up, and up when they get to the boss fight. So round 2 here will take a long time because it's basically going to be A1s. I don't think anybody's going to use any skill other than an A1. Maybe Ninja might use his A2 as well. I forget. He won't use his A3 though. His A3 is really important. He needs his A3 for the boss fight because that's the AoE. You don't want to use the HP burn triple hitter. You want to use the AoE freeze. It also helps to have... It's a little bit weird with resist because you get to determine how much resist the copies of you have. And you'll also get to determine how much accuracy you have. So if you can overcome your own resist, then the copies can overcome your resist as well, right? And so really you can't give them a turn. Oh, Tulsi. Okay, that's good to know. Hey, Femoral. Hey, Matt Davis. Smash that like button. Hey, Shooter. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, so basically here, what we just want to do is the first thing, Lady Kimmy is my fastest champion. She's got the aura lead. Again, you can do this with like High Katoon and Apothecary, and you could use Runekeeper Dazdirk or Old Hermit Jorg or Seeker, like any turn meter fill. Basically, you just need to be speed tuned. So I'm not going to get separated here. I have Lady Kimmy is going to give me a speed boost into Deacon. Deacon's going to, or turn meter fill. That's going to get me to Deacon. Deacon's going to do the same thing. Now that's where my speed tune breaks. This team is not speed tuned all the way down, but this will get me to Vizix, and Vizix can use her provoke to then lock out the enemy team. So I think the enemy Kimmy, if she's not dead, will get a turn, but it'll only be an A1. Deacon would get a turn, but only, an A1. And then Allure and Ninja will kill everybody. Now, Allure will actually open with her A2. That will give us a drop defense, and then Ninja will nuke everybody out. I got an itchy nose again today. Sorry. So that should be how this works. Let's see. So we'll do it one at a time here. So we get the speed boost and the turn meter fill. That gets us to Deacon, who's going to do his extra turn mechanic here, which is a turn meter fill and a turn meter decrease. And then he's going to give the... All right, and then So he missed most of his decreased defense. And Allure's decreased defense is actually on cooldown this time around, so she's just going to throw her A1. But hopefully that'll let Ninja just nuke out with his A3. And there we go. And everybody else is either frozen or provoked. And so now we get to kill them off. Now, unfortunately, we didn't kill everybody, so we don't get the turn meter control fully on the boss. So the boss is probably going to get a turn here. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. And she's going to steal Ninja, and then we're going to have to kill Ninja, and then we're going to get back on the boss. So there's the steal. I'm just doing this in auto. I'm going to speed it back up. Allure is going to do wonders here because she can now turn meter control both the copy of Ninja and the boss. She's in Relentless, by the way. I don't know if she has 100% crit rate. I think she has like 98% crit rate. So sometimes she'll miss her turn meter decrease. And now we're just in full turn meter decrease mode. Ninja will use all of his skills at this point, and the HP burn there that you just saw will be the biggest hit. It's not super fast, but it's pretty reliable. I would say it's like 90% reliable, maybe 95% reliable. I could tweak it a little bit to be more reliable. At this stage, it's probably 100, like up at floor 120. It's like 80, 90% reliable. The speeds do change as well, so you have to make sure you have enough accuracy and enough speed up at that level. And that's it. That's Dark Fae. Allure is clutch. And she basically uses her A1 the whole time. You know, she uses her A2, I think, twice in the whole fight, and then she just cycles her A1. Shaggy asks, what's a good setup for Sun Wukong as a nuker? I have Deacon and Allure. I just got Syl, Tayrel, and Ugo. You got some great champions there. You can set up Wukong as a pure nuker with Savage. Right? So Savage and Cruel, just like any other attack-based nuker. But if you want him to also do the buff strip, you're going to need some accuracy there. So sometimes you could do like Savage and a perception set. Or if you want to be really reliable as a buff stripper, you go all perception and just go crit damage gloves, crit rate substats, attack percentage chest. And you want to go fairly fast with him because he's a buff stripper, so he should be at the top of the turn order. Not the first, but he should be before your other nuker, your second nuker. There you go. There's Dark Fae, full auto. I hope that helped, but like I said, I have a video for every single Doom Tower boss. You just have to go type in Dark Fae on my YouTube page and you'll find it. All right. Is there any special whom the boss copy as I'm not sure what that means. Sorry. Any special whom the boss yeah. Sorry, Tulsi. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Is there any reason why they the boss copies a specific person? The boss always when they steal one champion, when the Dark Fae steals one champion, it steals the champion, I think, with the highest crit damage. I think that's what it is. How much for a takeover? Asks Kasel. Nothing. Today, it's free. But normally we will be offering paid services in the coming weeks. It's coming. It's definitely coming. I keep saying it, but it's coming soon. It's really coming soon. And if you are interested, you could always reach out with a DM in Discord. All right. So, couple of things before we actually get to the takeovers. I wanted to let you know we will not be live streaming this Thursday. We may not be live streaming Sunday. This may be the last live stream for this week. The reason is we are trying to launch a new video series in early March. It is a ton of work. We're not quite there yet, and we need every possible hour to get it done so that we can actually get it out on time. So we're going to be dropping Thursday's live stream and maybe Sunday's live stream as well. So I apologize for that disruption in the live streams. I like doing the live streams, but something had to give, and so that's what's happening. Now, the new video series, I'm not going to reveal yet because we're going to have a reveal video. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we get that out Saturday. That's our goal. So watch this space on Saturday. But I will say this. I've got 4 content creators lined up for collaborations over the coming weeks. So in about the next 15 days or so, we should have 4 different collaborations. You're going to have a lot of fun with the collaborators I'm bringing in. It's going to be a big series for us, and I hope you enjoy it and participate. So just a little sneak peek. I know it's kind of funny because it's almost like I don't care until I see it. Like when I watch YouTube, sometimes people be like, oh, we got a big thing coming. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not sure I care. I'm not sure I care. Tell me what it is. Maybe I'll care. But sometimes when, a content creator says, well, we got something big coming, you're like, ooh, this is cool because I like this content creator and I want to get in on the action. So I'm hoping people are getting excited. I hope they're getting curious. And I'm sorry to do that suspenseful thing that content creators do. But I'm too excited to contain it all. And so I have to let a little bit of it out and let you know about it. But I don't want to give it away yet because we're not ready. And, we have a whole plan. So, yeah, so, okay. Thank you, Denise. Hey, Jay. All right. So now for today, if you haven't done a takeover with us before, this is how it works. You have to be a member of our Discord community. So if you haven't joined our Discord, you want to join it right now. The invitation link should be in the description of this video. It's also on the main YouTube page in like the about section or wherever it is where you get info. You click that little thing and get the extra info. So go to our Discord, join our Discord. In our Discord community, you scroll down, you'll find a section called the Coaching Corner. You'll see me, I'm in the coaching voice right now with Sun, we're hanging out. In that little area, there's something called the Wheel of Takeover. All you have to do is click on that channel. You'll see a message from Sun. Go ahead and react to that message. You don't have to type a response, you just have to react. Any reaction will do. It doesn't matter if you react once or 50 times, you're only going to be entered once. That'll put you on the wheel. That's the wheel of takeover. We're going to spin the wheel. Where whoever the wheel picks, that's who gets the free takeover today. Now, even if you don't see your name on the wheel, you're on the wheel. The wheel can only show 50 names, I think, and we often have more reactions than that, but you are always on the wheel. It works perfectly. It's a great piece of little software there that we use. So, in preparation for your potential takeover, please have your login information ready to go, your email and password. As soon as you win, send me a DM with that information and we'll start chatting, and then we'll get you set up in Discord. You're going to join the coaching voice with me, and you want to mute your live stream so that you can hear me in real time and we can kind of talk back and forth. You're not going to have microphone privileges just because we found that was too complicated, but you can, send me DMs in Discord. And then basically tell me what kind of takeover you want for your account, what you're trying to accomplish. It could be general coaching. It could be pretty much anything. But today only, no gear cleanses. I'm sorry to say, if anybody's looking for a gear cleanse as a takeover, we're not doing one today. I don't have the time or energy or focus to do a gear cleanse. And so no gear cleanses today. But anything else that you're looking for, I'd be happy to help. Okay. I think that's it. Did I cover everything, son?
That seems about right.
Okay.
Only thing is, they can't actually see us, one, but they will if they win. And then
gotcha.
two, for some reason, your in-game screen, and I'm assuming because it's windowed, is kind of like funky right now. You might want to just change the sizing a little bit so it's not as stretched. Other than that, looking good.
How's that? Is that any better? So the thing is, I'm trying this new system where I don't cover up chat. Like, I'm trying to play in windowed mode so I can have chat accessible. So I'm a little bit more interactive in these streams and I can actually see the chat more easily. But it requires me to, OBS has to like adjust the screen a little bit. He is the sun. He's not Colred's son. He's the actual sun. No, we don't want people shouting themselves out, Shock. You remember that, don't you? I remember that. I was just talking about that. That's not actually the reason why we did it. We just did it because, with all the different audio setups that everybody has, a lot of times there were like technical difficulties. I couldn't hear them well. There was stream delay. There was all sorts of stuff. And then there was talking over each other. So it's much more just a matter of keeping it as streamlined as possible. James, how do you enter to win? You have to go to the Discord. I guess if you just showed up, you have to go to the Discord, join the Discord community, go down to the coaching corner. There's a channel called the Wheel of Takeover. You want to react to the wheel. You only need to react once, and then you'll be entered. And if we do a second takeover later, we will reset the reactions so that only people who are actively in the live stream will be able to react, and then we'll do a second. That's it. No, I am having a baby boy with my wife. We're having a baby boy. Son is not my baby boy. He's my bubba.
Papa?
No, he's the sun. Like the sun in the sky. He's sunshine. He's not like son o' mine. You're welcome, Anthony. I hope it helped. Son does have a dad, yes. He was born of human parents, as far as I'm aware. And so he has a mama and a papa.
So there's something I've been meaning to tell you.
No, there isn't. You don't have a belly button?
How'd they know?
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and check out the wheel for a second. How are we doing on reactions here? Oh, we got a lot of reactions. 50, 60 reactions. We're over 60 reactions. We do have 97. Oh, I didn't mention this.
Last chance.
Yeah, last chance. You can only win once every 90 days. So if you have won since January 1st, you are still not eligible, and you won't be eligible till the end of March. But if you won last year, if you won in December, you are eligible because we reset it on the year's end. So there are a few people out there who could get takeovers in like 70 days or something. But we felt that was appropriate to reset for the new year. All right, so I think we're ready, son. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel.
Let's do it.
Where are the emus now? They said the emus were extinct, but they were wrong. That still cracks me up. That was beautiful. If you don't know what we're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about, but in our last stream, Sun, who often just says things that he doesn't know where they come from, they just manifest, they inhabit his body and come out of his vocal cords. He said something about the emus being, he was like, people said the emus were extinct, but they were wrong. And then I was like, who's saying the emus are extinct? The emus are everywhere. They're not extinct. So that's where the joke came from. He clearly confused emus with like the dodos or something, but it was fun. It was a really enjoyable moment in our last live stream. You should go watch the VOD of the last live stream. We had a lot of fun on Sunday. Mr. Diablo, you may be too late to react. We've already spun the wheel. D's Banana. Is that who we got? Banana, for some reason I feel like you won. You won. All right. He needs to see the Liberty Mutual commercial. Am I lost? Is there something about emus in the Liberty Mutual commercial? I don't watch TV. Yeah, Mr. Diablo. Stick around for some tips, and there'll be a second takeover, hopefully. Okay, so Deez is a clan member. That's why I'm like, I know that you sent me your email at some point, and usually that means that you've won a takeover, but we were just talking about stuff, and okay, that's what happened. All right. Yeah. Overall account, help, and guidance. Deez has got the information already to me, so let me go ahead and swap this out. Log into his account. Or their account. And I feel like my camera's going wonky today. If my camera goes out of focus, please let me know. It's been a little bit weird the last day or two. Yeah, I'm missing the joke, Jay. I don't know. Oh, Liberty Mutual, the Limu Emu. Gotcha. Hey, Dozer. Good to see you. You thought it was your glasses that were getting out of focus? Your eyes were healing. You didn't need your glasses anymore because your glasses now looked blurry. I wish my eyes would age backwards. I read a like disheartening fact, and this was a few years ago, but I think the fact is probably remains. It's that the human eyeball at 40 years of age, like I don't know if it's the retina or whatever, but the eyeball receives 50% of the light that it did at 20 years of age. The amount of light that actually gets to your retina, I guess, is cut in half. That's crazy. Pupil, retinal, I don't know. Your lens, whatever. The amount of light that actually gets processed by your eye is cut in half. And when you think about it, that's why your memories of childhood seem so bright. Because your eyes were literally better. Cornea. Gotcha. Okay, so we're looking for some overall account help and guidance. We are on a level 64. You want to do more in Hydra and Clan Boss for sure. Okay. We'll yeah, let's do a quick we always like to check out the stats first, and then we'll see what we can do. So level 64, let's see the login days. We are looking at 182 days. You just got Scylla the Drakes. Congrats. She is fantastic. 180 days. That's beautiful. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You're one of the red dot people. You got red dots everywhere. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. And then let's take a look at the roster. Ooh, you've got Cardiel. You've got Cardiel. That's my boy. Congrats. You got a +1 Nethril. You got Countess Lix. You do have Newt, which is absolutely fantastic. Artak and Sun Wukong and Rathalos. You've got yourself a 6-star Deacon and a 6-star Geo and a 6-star Stag Knight. You are in very good shape, my friend. Is this a free-to-play account? Because this looks absolutely outstanding for a free-to-play account. I mean, really, really high value 6 stars, with the exception maybe of Madman, since he got nerfed. Right, but really high value. You've got 2 great potential campaign farmers here. You've got Apothecary at 60. Xavia is not bad. You're building up your Scylla the Drakes. You do have some other good champions. You got a Staltis down here at 5 stars. So clearly, you know, you still have some things that you can make progress with. You've got a Sepulchre Sentinel. You have a 2nd Deacon Armstrong. Let's check out the vault. See if there are any. Yeah, okay. So we've got some champions here. You've got an Arbaeus. That's pretty great. You've got Newt the Pierce and Duke the Pierce, not Newt the Pierce. Duke the Pierce, 2 of them. Got yourself a White Triad Naya. Got some good 50s here. You got a 2nd of Cold Heart. Some people are talking about eyeballs. Some people are talking about what's going on the screen. Dino asks, any spots left for the takeovers today? There are always spots left on the wheel. We will see if we can get to at least 2 takeovers today. That's the plan. That's what I'm hoping for. So you have a 3-star blessing on the Cold Heart in Relentless. Pretty good. All right. So I like the account. I like the account where it's at. Let's see. So you're that's the new Deep Dwarf Squats. I hadn't seen the new insignia. That's very cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. Matches our color scheme too. All right. Yeah, so Clan Boss. So it looks like 40 million, 1 key on Brutal. All right. Thanks, Erhan. I appreciate it. Hey, Bryce. Good to see you, Lanai. I don't know if I missed anybody else coming in. Simon? Alsafa? Good to see everybody. Alex, hey. All right, so do you know what you get on Nightmare? Like, do you know what your 1 key is on Nightmare typically? Is it different per, affinity? So is it this team that you run? I'm assuming it's the same team. Cardiel, yeah. This is a pretty good team, right? There's a lot of power here. Like, they're 5 very good champions. You've got an ally attack, which is going to help with a lot of things because you get all sorts of benefits out of that ally attack. You get a lot more damage. Obviously, Newt is an insane damage dealer. Geo is very good in Clan Boss. You've got HP burns. You've got HP burn activations. Now, there is some disharmony here in this team in that Artak and Geo don't really work super well together. Because Artak's going to activate Geo's burns. He's going to he's going to replace the burns potentially. And then you don't get Geo's reflect. It may not be that bad. Like, I don't actually know. You'd have to actually see it play out to understand how much damage you're potentially losing from that. But clearly, Brutal, you're crushing. So, geez, can you hear me okay in Discord? Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so do you know what your 1 key Nightmare damage is? Do you do Nightmare normally or do you avoid it? It's around 25. Okay, which would be a 3 key Nightmare. I'm sorry, it'd be a 2 key Nightmare. So with 3 keys, you can 1 key Brutal and 2 key Nightmare. That's pretty good. So it looks like the Ultra Nightmare is not open yet. Okay. Which makes sense for deep dwarf squats. That's about where you're supposed to be. All right, I want to just go see if you have a key. You don't have a Clan Boss key. Let me see how much time you have on your next Clan Boss. 24 minutes. Too bad you didn't get the second takeover. So what we'll do here is we'll skip over to some other stuff, and maybe we can come back. I don't want to use gems. You don't have that many gems, and we don't need to burn the gems. It's 25 minutes, so maybe we'll get to this right at the end there. Geo in a myth area is great. And then Bryce says, I'd swap in Wrath for Artak. Yeah. So we can theory craft, but until we have a key, it's a little bit trickier. So I'm going to go ahead and look at Hydra. Let's go take a look at Hydra. All right, so 13.24 million here. And you guys haven't unlocked hard yet, so you're on normal. And 13.24 is a decent 1 key. Now, are you manualing this fight? Or are you just letting it run? No auto? Okay. So the thing that you're lacking on this team is a provoke. So you have the Husk. I don't know if that's your only provoke champion. Let's look at your vault. You have Duke the Pierced, who's very good as well. Okay, so I would highly recommend you find a way to get provokes into your squad, because that's how you handle the Head of Decay. Right now, the Head of Decay will remove all debuffs from the heads and then fill the turn meter of all heads by 30%. So this is probably the most important head to deal with. He's also the second fastest head in the group. So if you look at the speeds, Mischief Head is fastest. Head of Decay is just a little bit slower than the Head of Mischief. And then every other head is a lot slower than those 2 heads for the most part. So we can actually come over here. I'll show you on HH's website. So again, I do this all the time. I'm going to go over here, use the raid stages tool. I use this raid stages tool nearly every day I play raid. It's it's like the best tool in the game because it lets you build your champions without wasting stats and knowing exactly what you need to reach in order to be effective. So we go to Hydra. I think we're in rotation 5, right? Is that where we are? And then we'll go to normal. And you get all the stats here for each of the heads and then each of the substitute heads. And you can just see, what you need. So you can see the Head of Mischief runs at 210 and the Head of Decay runs at 190. So the Head of Blight is actually pretty fast at 180. I didn't realize that. But the 3 other heads, it's 100, 160, 140. There's like a significant drop off. And the higher you go in difficulty, the bigger the gap. So when you get to Nightmare, if you look at Head of Mischief is at 250, right? And then you can see the Head of Suffering is at 140. We've got 190, 170. So it's like it's a bigger gap, and you need to be going a lot faster. But basically, the speed matters for a couple of reasons. We haven't really talked about this before, I don't think. Maybe we've mentioned it on a stream once or twice. But one of the things that you need to do when you're in the fight is decide which boss you're going to target. Excuse me for a moment. I got an itchy eye. Sorry about that. I shouldn't make you watch this. Don't look. Don't look at me. Ah, my eye. My eye. Sorry, I'm okay. Sorry about that. I could have taken myself off screen, but that was more fun. So you have to select which heads you're going to kill, like which ones you're going to do damage to. And actually, let's go back here. So the things you want to consider, right, are the counter, the devour counter, the little green counter on your champions tick based on the turns that the bosses get, right? So the faster they go, the faster your champions get devoured. So by killing the Head of Mischief, who is the fastest head, not only do you remove a very tricky head from the table, like you get him off the board, if he's replaced by somebody else, their entire team is slower. That means you get more skills per round of boss, right? So imagine you pull the Head of Mischief off the board and the Head of Torment or the Head of Wrath comes back. They're at 190 and 170 here. This is actually Nightmare, but if you go all the way back down to normal, you can see they're at 140 and 160. Now, there's a second thing that happens. When the Head of Mischief devours a champion, which often the Head of Mischief is the most likely culprit, right? That's the most likely head to devour your champion. That head, like the rounds, you get 4 turns to free your champion or 3 turns to free your champion. It's the Head of Mischief who's really fast. So those rounds are faster. If the Head of Suffering, devours your champion, those rounds are really slow. Now there's a trade-off, right? The trade-off is that the Head of Suffering has a ton more HP and a ton more defense. So even though it's slower, you have to do a lot more damage to it. But if you're bringing, say, HP burns, right? HP burns do damage based on max HP. So they're going to hit the Head of Suffering harder. If you have ignored defense, then you don't care about the giant stack of defense. So these are all like little considerations you can do as you start to put your team together and think about the rotation that's happening and which head you're targeting. I'm still getting good at that. Like I'm still understanding the theory of how to build a good team and target which head. There's also like which head is lower, if you're doing AoE damage, like who do you burn through? And sometimes you just have to be opportunistic and kill a head that's available to kill so you have an exposed neck so you can do more damage. But so the Head of Mischief is the fastest. The second fastest is the Head of Decay. Now, the Head of Decay is the head that can be provoked. And it's the head that removes all the debuffs from all of the other heads. So you don't want that skill to fire ever. If you can prevent it from firing even one time, that's the goal. It's kind of like Fire Knight. You do a complete turn meter control. You don't want him to put up the shield even once. Same thing with the Head of Decay. You don't want him to put up that cleanse even once. And if he goes a second time, he's going to put up a block debuffs buff. So that's frustrating too. So it's not actually a block debuffs buff. It's a, let's see, what's it called? Life barrier. So that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of the other. I was thinking of Poison Cloud. Poison Cloud is from the head of Blight, maybe? Yeah. Okay. So the head of Mischief typically requires a Hex debuff so that you can target it more effectively, or a lot of AoE damage, right? The head of Decay requires a Provoke buff so that it never gets its cleanse. Those are the two most important heads out of all 6 to have solutions for. They are also the 2 most common heads in all of the rotations. The head of Mischief is a starting head in 5 of the 6 rotations. The head of Decay is a starting head in 4 of the 6 rotations. I think there's another head that's starts in 4 and then everybody else starts in 3 or something like that. So it's, some heads are just, you need a better solution because they pop up more often. And remember, at this difficulty level, most likely what's going to happen is when you kill a head, they're going to come back the same head. So if you kill the head of Mischief, it's probably just going to pop up. It's going to be Mischief again. So we want provokes, we want hexes, we want AoE damage. Slows, AoE slows are great because we slow down these 2 fast heads, and then we probably kill these heads quickly. Now, there is something else to note about this rotation, which is that if the head of Suffering is alive, which he's a starting head here, you have to add 50 resistance to each head, which is going to increase your accuracy requirement. So when you look at the resistance stat here for the head of Mischief, it's actually pretty low, but you have to add 50 to that, which means you need to add about 60 accuracy to overcome the 50 resistance, roughly. So if you remove the head of Suffering, it becomes easier to land your debuffs, but the head of Suffering is so tanky and so slow, we generally don't mess with the head of Suffering. The only time we really want to mess with the head of Suffering is if the head of Suffering actually devours a champion. So again, that targeting can be kind of important. Actually, can be critically important. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily look. I've got there we go. That's what I was trying to avoid. I do that all the time. So you don't necessarily have to have Hex out for the head of Mischief. You can use a block debuffs buff, or you could use a combination of the two. The Hex allows you to target the head so that you can kill it more easily. The block debuffs kind of means that if it steals your buffs, it doesn't spread them to the to the other bosses. So I would definitely think about on your account bringing in Husk, or bringing in Duke the Pierced, or bringing in both. You want to have a really reliable provoke. I usually like to run 2 provokes. I like to run a main provoker and a backup provoker. So you want to get provokes into your team if you can. So let's go ahead and look at the team that you ran again. So, here you basically have 4 damage dealers. And you don't need 4 damage dealers. You can go back to 2. 2 is the typical amount. You can run 3 or like 2.5. You can think of Wukong potentially as 1/2 of a damage dealer. Let's go look at your Wukong and see how your Wukong is built. All right, in Savage and Perception, decent accuracy, not really high accuracy. So this is more of a nuker Wukong than a debuffer nuke Wukong. Now, what that means is probably as you go up to the next difficulty level, you're going to start to struggle with that accuracy, right? Your accuracy here is going to be enough at 188, and you might even have some accuracy kicking in. You do. So it'll be, at least 192. And then when you have no skills on cooldown, it's going to be 212. So that's enough for this difficulty. But as you tier up, as you go up in difficulties, Wukong's not going to successfully buff strip or land Brimstone anymore. So you will need to either get him out of a Savage set, or get a Savage set with more accuracy, or get an accuracy banner, or get accuracy from area bonuses. There are all sorts of ways to get accuracy. You want to look for crit damage with accuracy. You can glyph up some more accuracy. So you may be able to keep him in the Savage, but you're going to have to get that accuracy up. So he's sort of, in this build, he's probably about 3/4 of a nuker, right? Like he's pretty much a nuker. He's close to a nuker. This build over time you want to improve, right? You're trying to get more bonuses onto new. You can run them in Relentless. It can be great. You can also run them in Savage. You want to get that ignored defense on him. It's good though. I mean, you've got 207% crit damage. He's got enough accuracy again for the level that you're at. But the accuracy requirements and the need to hit harder are going to keep rising. So, these are champions you want to focus on. This is not a criticism. You're doing the right thing. I'm just saying, be aware that as you level up, you might be like, why is my Newt not so effective these days? It's like you're giving away, several set bonuses. You have 1 set and 4 broken piece sets, So, like, if you could take those 4 away and put him in Savage and have the exact same stats, he would hit a lot harder. So that's hopefully what you're trying to do with him. Maybe the next time we have a free gear removal or whatever, you can work on his build. And do consider his accuracy because he needs accuracy. So he is like Wukong. He's a nuker plus a kind of a debuffer. In this case, he's a turn meter decreaser. And he also has the decrease attack and weaken on his A2, which are really important. You want that AoE decrease attack on Hydra. That's really important. You have another one on Artak. This is also important. He's more likely to have accuracy in his kit anyway, because he's an HP burner. So, but it's good to have a backup. It's good to have a backup in 2 different affinities, right? Because Newt won't weak hit where Artak does weak hit. Now, Skrank's an interesting option. He works pretty well as a combo HP burner and direct damage dealer. He has a weaken on his A1, which is always nice. And then he's got an AoE that has HP burns. He doesn't activate, but he has this passive that increases his damage when HP burns do activate. So you could pair him with Artak, and that would be fine. Then you'd have 2 HP burners, and this guy would be more of the setup man, and Artak would be able to activate more often. That could be good. I really do like Husk, though, and you got 4 stars in a blessing here. So he's got a provoke on his A1. It's only a 40% chance. Let's see. So if you do mastery him, you can consider, you can consider Fearsome Presence. Typically you don't because you're going to want, you might want Helm Smasher. You might want War Master. Depends. So that's something. Yeah, that's a good call, Shooter. If you run Newt as a decrease attack champion, make sure you have a mischief tank or the counterattack will get stolen. When the counterattack that Newt has gets stolen, that can be a real pain in the butt. Now, if you have a block debuffs buff up, then it doesn't matter, right? And you do have Wukong, so that's another way to get around it. But you could also have a mischief tank so that he doesn't even get targeted. So then he's going to get his counterattacks because his counterattack won't be stolen. You have some really good, you have a Royal Guard. He's also an excellent Hydra Clan Boss damage dealer. He's got the 4 times hitter, which is random, and it can slow. So this can be really useful if you don't have a better slow. You can get multiple slows out there. Obviously, you have a slow on Stagnite, but it's only a single target. I don't know about Nethril. Does Nethril have a slow? I don't think he does. He does. Places a decreased speed for 2 turns if the target is not under a stun debuff. So Nethril could actually give you an AoE slow. And then maybe Canis Lixus here for the slow as well. Okay. Yeah, Zarbeus is also... This is a really good Hydra champion. Removes all buffs from all enemies, increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. You get a revive on death. Builds turn meter. Increase attack. Increase accuracy is going to be really valuable as you scale up. When you get to like Brutal and Nightmare Hydra, This increased accuracy just makes life better. And it's up for 2 turns on it is on a 4-turn cooldown, but she gets a lot of turns. Leech and HP burn. Continuous heals. Taunt can be really useful. Full of Stone Skin. When attacked, places a decreased speed buff on the attacker for 2 turns, occurs once per hit. So she could be very good for Hydra. I mean, you have champions for two teams. You have good champions for 2 teams. You just want to make sure that you're getting the skills into each composition that you need. So I do think that Husk, because he's fully booked, fully built, and he's got 4 stars, this is probably going to be your major damage dealer and your provoker. You want to get him enough accuracy, and you want to get him fast. Relentless can be good. Relentless can be good. You know, you can definitely use extra turns here. He's got, you know, a max HP hit, and then you've got this provoke. And you unfortunately don't have really provoke. It looks like your 1 6-star provoke champion. The other champion you can consider bringing up is Duke the Pierced, who I actually really like. Are both copies in your vault? Okay, both copies are in your vault. Pull him out. So I actually really like Duke the Pierced. Think of him like a Stag Knight. He's very similar to a Stag Knight, but he's actually better suited to some fights and worse suited to others. The major difference is he doesn't have a slow on his A1. He has a decreased accuracy. So if you can land this on the Head of Mischief, that actually helps you resist, and like you could turn anybody into a Mischief tank. So that's nice. He has an AoE decreased attack and decreased defense. You do need to hit a critical hit in order to get the decreased defense. So it's conditional there. And he can weak hit because he's magic affinity. So you won't always get the decreased defense on everybody, but you get him on, you know, most of the heads. And then you have this provoke. Now, this provoke is like, some people really don't like this provoke because it's not an AoE provoke. It provokes 1 target and then 2 other random enemies. So you get to pick the 1, you know, target that you're provoking, and then it'll just like throw 2 other provokes out there. Now, in this fight, it doesn't matter. You only need 1 provoke. None of the other heads can be provoked anyway. But the really nice thing about this skill that I think people don't realize is this is not a hit. It cannot weak hit. This is affinity friendly. So you can provoke force affinity heads, if he's a force affinity head, just as easily as any other, you know, or force affinity targets in other content. So it's a really nice provoke. It is on a 4-turn cooldown. So like I said, it's usually helpful to have a backup. And since your Husk, this is only a 50% chance on the A1, you know, and they're different affinities. Having the Husk, I mean, it doesn't matter with Duke, but having the Husk, having the Duke, like having those swap back and forth, that could be really nice. So if we're looking at, you know, the team that you're currently running, you know, you have this potential to maybe, like, you could replace Stag Knight with Duke the Pierced. You get basically the same coverage. You lose that slow, but you're going for an AoE slow anyway with the Countess Licks, right? And so then the idea there is maybe you can swap out one of the other damage dealers, either Newt or Artak. Probably not Wukong because you want the block debuffs and the buff strip. In order to get in your Husk and get the max HP hit instead. You could also pull the Countess Licks instead and go with Royal Guard. And Royal Guard's got that AoE slow. You know, it's like not an AoE, but it's a 4-hitter with the random. So like the team that you've got is good. It's a little bit heavy on damage dealers. Which is not necessarily a bad thing at this level because you don't really need all the mechanics to be perfect. Just hit as hard as you can. But I would say that provoke is the next thing that you need to work into this roster. And the great thing about Husk as a provoker is he's a massive hitter. You know what I mean? He hits super hard. You do have to master yours, but he's really good. Yeah, no worry, D's. That's fine. So, I mean, I'm assuming you watch some of my videos. You know, you're playing this account very well. You're developing it very well. You've gotten some good luck as well. The RNG has been friendly to you. You've gotten some really good champions. So as your account progresses, as your clan progresses, and you get into those harder difficulties, you'll have to make more of these decisions. But you have absolutely fantastic champions. In the long run, you should look for an Inquisitor Shamail, at least one, if not two, or even three, because he's going to be a solution for the head of Torment, I think it is. And he's really the best in-game solution for that head. Another great option would be Duchess if you ever pulled a Duchess, but we all want a Duchess, don't we? All right. Well, let's take a quick look. I like looking at arena stuff. You're in Gold 2. Gold 2 can be tricky. Gold 2 can be the hardest tier of arena. Like, Gold 3 is also hard. Gold 4 and 5 are way easier than Gold 2 and 3. Hey, King Doc. Good to see you. Swanby, Rector Drath is a very good option, and I actually use Rector Drath on my account as well as a solution for the head of Torment, because Perfect Veils prevent the fears. The only downside is I believe it's a 2-turn Perfect Veil on a 4-turn cooldown. But she's still better than nothing, right? Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, I'm noticing a mistake right away, which is that you need to have Wukong in the lead. His speed aura is 28%, right? Cardiel's is only 19%. So if you're trying to go first, you should have Wukong in the lead. If you're not trying to go first, then, get somebody else in the lead. Like, take off the aura entirely. But you actually have some beautiful options here. You have some really beautiful options here. All right, let's go ahead and I'll put together a team. It's not going to be speed tuned necessarily, but let's see if we can't find you a really nice arena team. I gotta check out your Nethril. You might be too slow. Nethril can be really good in arena. With this A3, he can be incredibly strong, but you need to run him fast. And you're running him pretty slow here. Cardiel's at 227, which is not bad. Most of these champions their speed needs to come up. Artak, you're running at 149. He should be more like 249. So you want to get an accuracy banner with a speed substat. You want to get 6-star speed. Well, you got 6-star speed boots. Everything else needs to have a speed substat, and it needs to be glyphed with speed. He's incredibly valuable. Even if you want to keep him in the regen set, you need to get him, as high as you can really get. But arena is the place where speed matters the most. Okay, so this Deacon at 156, this is an almost useless Deacon. And it's too bad because it's like you've got other stats on him, He's fully booked. You got a Phantom Touch. You got most of his masteries done. Here's the way to use Deacon in any account. Fast and accurate. 3 perception sets. Accuracy banner with speed substats, as much speed as you can pile onto him with as much accuracy as you can pile onto. Right? So this, let's do a little rebuild here. I should check the clan's insignia again. I did. Did you redo the clan's insignia while I was live streaming? Nice. All right. You redid the insignia. We got a little bit of a Cole Red Plays logo going on there. You know what's funny is I messed around with the sword as well. I did think that could be kind of cool. I had to use 2 images to get the tail on the P for Red Wardens. And that was unfortunate because the dimensions are wrong if you make it, that way. So that's fantastic. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. That's really cool. And the layering there is tight. That's nice. That's awesome. I love it. Good job, Sabik. Good job, Lanai. All right. So yeah, so let's look at so this is the concept behind the team. Let's do the team first and get the concept down, and then we can build towards the concept. So what's the struggle with this team that you have, right? Like, you're not fast enough to beat go first teams like this Arbiter that we just picked here, so you can't beat those teams. And you're not tanky enough, and like you don't have the skill set for a go second team, right? Like you don't have the frontline tank. Syl of the Drakes is great as a tank. You can make her really defensive. She's a reviver, obviously. She's got heals, so it'll help keep you alive. But you need a cleanser. You need maybe an AoE revive. You need somebody else on a go second team. So this doesn't do either job particularly well. Now, typically it's easier to do a go first team than a go second team, because go second team is more stat intensive and you need specific combinations of champions. And there's just so many more options for a go first team. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a go first team together. Now, the way a go first team typically works is you have 2 turn meter fillers. You want a big speed aura, 2 turn meter fillers. You need your turn meter fillers at the top of the turn order, so they go 1-2, and then you go debuffer nuker, right? Now, in this particular case, you have a semi-debuffer, semi-nuker kind of thing, plus you have a turn meter filler nuker, or turn meter filler debuffer in Deacon. This is what makes Deacon so valuable. He can give you turn meter increase, he can decrease the enemy's turn meter, and he gives you the drop defense all in 1 turn. Like it's 2 turns because he gets an extra turn mechanic, but like nobody else goes. He gets all of those things back to back. So that's really incredible. You have a nice speed aura here of 28%. So these 2, champions bring you speed aura, decreased defense, turn meter fill, turn meter drop, buff strip, block buffs, and a nuke. Plus, you can also use his A2, which is like a secondary nuke or a crowd control, depending on how you use it. These 2 champions together, awesome, phenomenal. All right, now we have to enable these 2 champions. We got to make sure that these 2 champions are actually going to win their go first speed race. What I would like is a second turn meter filler, but I don't really see one available here. You have High Katoon, who could work in this team comp, by the way. We would also like an increase attack if at all possible. We would prefer to have both of those on the same champion, right? So there are champions who do that. There are a ton of champions who do that. You can even get like Ilfrig from the Bannerlords. Let's go look at the roster one more time. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to look at the champions. So let's look and see if we have, depending on who we have in the vault, we might have an increase attack. It needs to be for the team. Here's Eofrig. This is the guy I would pull out. Based on everybody else that you have here, like all of these champions. Ursula, by the way, is phenomenal. She's great, and you can use her, but she's more of a go second team kind of champion. So she has a decreased attack here, AoE, and an increased attack. She's also got some turn meter decrease, and then she's got a great revive. You can build her really tanky. She can be used in arena. She's actually great in arena. She's not awesome on a go first team, but if you don't have another increased attack champion, she would be an option. You can also use Spirit Hose because Spirit Hose has increased attack and also has a cleanse and a block debuffs, which is really valuable. But she's hard, like stat wise, and obviously she doesn't give you turn meter fill. Ilfrig actually does both. So on his A3, he gives you 15% turn meter fill and an increased attack. You can run this guy in your arena team at 40. You can run him unbooked. You need to build him fast. He doesn't even need any masteries. You don't need masteries. You don't need books. You don't need 6 stars. You can just build him as fast as you can get him and put him in the team today. And so if we did that, right? If we did that with this team setup, let's see. I think I need to pull him out of the. Let's actually just go looking for him. So he is an epic. That forced. All right, so we've got these two. Now we're going to put in Eofrig. All right, that's our second turn meter fill and our increase attack. Now you can go ahead and put in your Cardiel. You could also put in a second nuker here. You could put in a Nethros. You could put in Rathalos. You could put in Newt. You could put in, you have a lot of flexibility with this fourth spot. Because when you think about the first 3 champions, like forget Cardiel for a second, you've got your speed aura. You've got 2 increase, like 2 turn meter fills. You got a drop defense. You've got an increase attack. You've got a buff strip, and you've got a nuke. You've got a full arena team. These 3 champions without a 4th champion could probably get you to gold 5. It would be a little tricky, and you'll have to speed tune them really well and like get good gear on them. But you don't need a 4th champion. You literally don't need a 4th champion. These 3 bring everything that you need. But if you want, you can now play around with that 4th spot. You can bring in a Cardiel to get an ally attack. That's going to allow you to potentially like hit one target really hard. Maybe like a Duchess, you want to work her down so that Wukong's AoE then kills her. That could be good. You could bring in a second nuker who's more of a single target hitter. You could bring in somebody who does crowd control. So if you had, I'm trying to think if you have anybody here. You don't really have anybody here. By the way, if you don't want to invest in Aelfrig, you can absolutely do the same thing here with Apothecary or with High Katoon. You just lose the increased attack. That's why the Aelfrig is here, because he does both, right? So you don't necessarily need an increased attack. You don't absolutely have to have it, but it will help. Countess Lix could be good in this spot as well. You could bring in Geo's kind of interesting because he's got the 100% turn meter decrease, plus, he's got some interesting utility there. Nethro's definitely an option. But again, and the way that this should go, so I'm going to put in Cardiel here. The way that this should go is Deacon Armstrong or Aelfrig need to be your fastest champion. Either one of them, because Deacon Armstrong is already 6 stars, he's going to have access to more speed. So he's going to be your fastest champion. So what I would say is you want him running. Hi, have Genbo? Who's got Genbo? I'm not sure. Okay. So typically you would want Aelfrig to be fastest. Now here's the reason why. If you want a perfectly synergized go first team, your increased attack champion should go first. Because most decreased defense champions have to hit, and they're usually attack based. Not all of them are, some of them are defense based. But by increasing attack first, Deacon's A2 would actually hit a little bit harder, right? And therefore, you would actually get more damage in your cycle than you would otherwise. So if you're perfectly synergized, you have Ffective go first and Deacon Armstrong go second. But because of the fact that Deacon 6 stars, and he's faster anyway, and you're probably not going to build Ffective all the way out, you want Deacon faster. So what that means is, when Ffective will then put up his increased attack afterwards. Now remember the speed tune. The way this works is that you need to do the math on the speed tune. So I'm going to pull up the calculator. Okay. We do not want to count on Deacon Armstrong's turn meter decrease on the enemy. We're just going to do it the math based on the turn meter fill. So let's say you can get your Deacon to 250. He gives a 15% turn meter fill. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide by 1.15. That's 115%, right? So he's giving 15% turn meter fill to Ffective. So Ffective will need to run at 218. He needs to run over this amount. So Deacon at 250, Ffective at 217. And again, if you speed up Deacon, you need to speed up Ffective, right? So you kind of have to determine how fast you can get him. I would highly recommend getting Deacon over 250, right? With the speed aura, that should be enough to get you to gold 5. You could potentially do it slower, but he should be running that fast anyway. So 250, that means Ffective is at 217. Now he gives an additional 15%. So what you want to do is you want to go back to the 250. You always need to do it based on the fastest speed on the team. And you're going to divide by 1.3. Because now you're giving 30% to the next two champions. This is going to be Cardiel and Wukong. Now you want Cardiel to go before Wukong for a couple of reasons. One is you want that potential ally attack, to get out there. But remember that Cardiel gives you an increased crit rate and increased crit damage buff. Now you're using Sun Wukong in other content without Cardiel, probably, so you might want him at 100% crit rate anyway. But if he's going to be primarily your arena nuker, or if you replace him with a different arena nuker, you can build that arena nuker at 70% crit rate. That's one of the great things about having Cardiel here. If you're going to swap around this 4th spot, then have that nuker at 100%, but they will always get the 30% extra crit damage. Okay, so now we're going to divide that by 1.3, and we're going to get our speed. So we need to run Cardiel at least 193, and we need to run also Sun Wukong at least 193. So probably you want to run Cardiel, 5-10 speed faster than Sun Wukong. You actually want Cardiel as fast as basically you can get him as well. So if you're running Ffective at 218, run Cardiel at 270. You know what I mean? Get him fast. And then Sun Wukong needs to be at least 193. And again, now if you increase Deacon's speed to 260, you need to do the math over again. 1.15. Ffective now is at 227. And then, you go back and you do 260 divided by 1.3. And that's going to get you to 200 for Cardiel and Wukong as their basement. So basically, whatever percentage the champion is getting, that's what's going on the bottom, right? So the speed of the fastest champion divided by the maximum percentage of turn meter fill. They always have 100% turn meter fill, and then in this case, they're getting 30. But let's say you replaced Ffective here with Seeker. Let's say you got Seeker. He does the same thing, increase turn meter and increase attack, right? But he gives 30% turn meter fill. So then instead of 1.3, you would be dividing by 1.45, and you could actually slow your nukers down and still be speed tuned. And that allows you to put more stats from speed into crit damage or attack or whatever you have. Yeah, remember that you have to get from Deacon to Ffective. So Ffective is only getting 1 turn meter boost. But Cardiel and Wukong are getting 2 turn meter boosts because they get Deacons. Everybody gets Deacons. And then they also get Ffective. Right? So it's they get 30%, but Ffective only gets 15%. That's important to know. You've got a Genbo. He's 40 though. Okay. So first of all, you should build Genbo. Genbo is awesome. He is the best epic nuker for Arena in the game. I don't even think it's close. He's better than Skullcrown. He's better than Magnar. He's more versatile, and he will absolutely crush Gold 5 for you. He's awesome. He's also Void Affinity. I mean, so is Skullcrown, but he's Void Affinity. You don't have to worry about weak hits. He's got his own increased crit damage buff. So if you pull Cardiel out of this team, you're still fine because he still has the increased crit rate and increased crit damage buff. You can build him at 70% crit rate all the time because he brings that his own buff. So whether you have Cardiel or not doesn't matter. And then what you can do in that particular case, what you would want to do, honestly, is probably have this team. So assume this is Arbiter for a second. I know you don't have your Arbiter yet, but you'll get her eventually. You want Arbiter into Deacon, into Cardiel, into Genbo. This is the team I run at Gold 5. Arbiter, Deacon, Cardiel, Genbo. You will absolutely chew through UDK teams, and that's what you want, right? Ultimate Death Knight is on so many teams because he was a free champion. So here you have two options. You can use your ally attack, you use Cardiel's ally attack to obliterate UDK and pull him off the board, right? Because you're going to get 4 hit, you're going to get a weaken from Arbiter, you're going to get the decreased defense. You already have the increased attack, and then you have the increased crit rate and crit damage, and then all 4 champions attack the UDK. The last one being Genbo, who's going to double hit him and just snick snack and he's dead, right? Like, I nuke out UDKs all the time. Or let's say the UDK has Stone Skin, and you don't want to do that. First of all, sometimes Genbo can steal the Stone Skin. He does have a removal. It's not a great chance, and I wouldn't focus on that, but you could do that. But here's the other thing. Just use the ally attack on any of the other champions. Just ignore UDK for a second. Remember, UDK's passive blocks 1 hit. This ally attack is 2 hits from Arbiter. So all that's getting ignored is the first hit from Arbiter's A1. So you have 1 Arbiter hit. You've got 2 of the Deacon hits on the A1. You've got the Cardiel A1. And then over all of that, you've got the Genbo A1, which hits really hard. It's a really nice 2-hitter. So you can chew through somebody that UDK is built to protect. You can remove a Duchess. You can remove, a nuker if you need to. You could kill a Harima. This is the perfect team to destroy UDK team. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, here's the other thing. Let's say you're worried about a more tanky team that's probably going to have a lot, like maybe it's got Mithrala, maybe it's got, I don't know, Necrit, maybe you've got Pythion or Siphi, and you don't think this team is going to get it done. Now you pull out Cardiel and you put in Wukong. Now you've got the buff stripper and the second nuke. You're not really going to drop your damage off, and Genbo can still self-buff himself, so he's going to have 100% crit rate and 100% crit damage even after you've removed the Cardiel. It's literally the perfect team. You don't need Lysandra. You don't need Siphi. You don't need Duchess. All you need is Deacon and Genbo. That's it. Like, if you have those 2 champions, you can now mix and match and play with all these other spots. And it's like, yeah, Arbiter is the best lead for it. Absolutely. Wukong is great. Cardiel is awesome. But these 2 spots become so flexible because you've got a nuker who never weak hits, and you've got the perfect decreased defense champion in the game. He's the best arena decreased defense champion in the whole game, and he's a free champion everybody can get with a code, or you can pull from a shard. So, Bryce, Ursula is standing in for Arbiter right now. That's the closest thing that he has to Arbiter. So it's not Ursula. Don't look at Ursula. That is Arbiter, right? You can't see her, but she's there. Yeah. So So that's the team. That's the team that you want to end up with. And here's the great thing is like in order to get there, you actually have all these intermediate stages that will actually push you towards gold 5. So remember this top team here, like you literally don't have to do anything yet. Once you build Genbo, right? You can just swap Genbo in right there. You don't need the ally attack to make this team work. You've got 2 nukers, right? You just need it speed tuned, right? And then eventually once you get Arbiter in that spot on this team, she's got a 30% turn meter fill. So you can even drop the speeds further, or you can push the whole team faster. You know, once you get your Arbiter up to like 300 speed, I mean, honestly, when I first got to gold 5, I was running my Arbiter at like 275, and now I run her at like 375, and it feels about the same just because everybody's gotten faster over the years, you know, so. But just getting to gold 5 and being able to pick up the one-man defenses and stuff like that, I would say you probably don't need to get past like 260. Like 260 is probably an intro level for gold 5. 300's pretty comfortable, and 340 is like you're living there. That's about what that's maybe a little bit, maybe 325 is you're living there. And when I say living there, I mean you don't have to think about it. You just click auto battles and you just crush. So that's your arena plan. Am I having any stream issues for anybody? Is the stream freezing at all for anybody? Son, are you having stream issues?
No, I haven't noticed any issues yet.
Okay. D's Banana is having a little bit of a difficulty with the stream, so. Cool. Thank you, folks. Yeah, so I mean, it's for my money, and I'm a free-to-play player. For my money, there is no better nuker in the game for arena than Genbo. He is the champion you want. He's absolutely the champion you want. He's an epic, so he's much easier to build and book out, right? You don't have to waste legendary tomes on an arena nuker. You don't have to do it. Now, if you want to play 3v3 arena and get to gold, if you want to do live arena and all that, yes, then you probably need to grow beyond Genbo. You're going to need better options. But for classic arena, there is no better gold 5 arena nuker in the game than Genbo. He's an epic, so he's easy to build. He's got a natural buff. He actually hits really hard. People look at his multipliers and they say his multipliers aren't good. He has an extra multiplier. It's a 30% multiplier. His multipliers are fantastic once you factor that in, right? You can build them at 70% crit rate, so he's easy to build. He has void affinity, so he never weak hits. And on top of all of that, he ignores unkillable buff. So he just crushes Skull Crowns, he crushes Man Eaters, he crushes all, you come up against a Sir Nicholas team or whatever, he doesn't care. He ignored Leorius the Proud, not that proud, right? Like, dude is done. So he doesn't ignore Stone Skin, but he can potentially steal it. He's perfect. He's the perfect champion, and he looks cool. He looks super cool. I love Genbo. He's one of my all-time favorite epics and one of my favorite champions on my account. Hey, Freaky. Welcome to Barbarian. The Horde grows. The Horde is growing, son.
Freaky Gamer became a member.
Love it. Love it. All right, so I think that's what we're gonna do for today. We're gonna call it a takeover. So I hope that was helpful. D's, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry we didn't get back to the clan boss team. Just really quickly, I'm just gonna give you a thought on the clan boss team. I think the issue with this is potentially you have this overlap with Artak and Geo, and you don't maybe have enough support to keep this up. You could get more value out of extending the life of your team a little bit. And probably I would get rid of Artak. I would take Artak out because the longer the fight goes, the more value Geo is going to have. And you don't want to remove Newt yet because he has the destroyed defense. So potentially, you can think here about a team. You don't need a third damage dealer. You could, let's see, what I would probably do is something like, actually, does Geo has a decrease attack, right?
Not a decrease attack, no.
What does he have?
He does
Decrease
have
accuracy.
a
Decrease accuracy.
steal and decrease accuracy.
Yeah,
Weaken
so
and then HP burn.
So we do have Newt as the decrease attack champion, but we lose the R-Tac decrease attack. But here you start thinking about bringing in a support champion who could make a difference. One option would actually be Doom Priest. She's going to give you an increased attack buff, which doesn't help a huge ton with this comp, but she's also going to give you like an auto cleanse. And if you speed tune this, even if it's not an unkillable speed tune, but if you can get her so she just cleanses every round, then you cleanse the slow for spirit affinity and you cleanse the stun from every affinity, and that's going to get you more damage as well. So even though you're removing a damage dealer, you remove that conflict with Geo, and you bring in, you're potentially extending your life, and you're getting more hits in the rounds that you're actually getting. So this is an option. You could go with something like this to get cooldowns down. You could go with this to get increased speed and more heals and more turns. But really what we need is an ally protector. So, you want to get an ally protector, or at least maybe a shield and increased defense champion. So, if we're looking for, let's see if there's an ally protect. I tried Naya as an option. She actually also has a cooldown reduction, which is pretty cool. I probably wouldn't use Vergis here. The only downside of White Tried Naya is she's a little bit squishy, but she does bring an increased strength, not increased strengthen. She brings a lesser strengthen buff, which is actually really nice. She brings this too. And she's got an AoE slow on her A1, and she's Void Affinity, so that's valuable in Hydra. So she could go into your second Hydra team and be your slow champion over there, and add some survivability to that team. So that would be an option. Another option would be to go for an increased defense champion if you have somebody who brings an AoE increased defense, and maybe a shield. Does anybody bring both? Yeah, just you have Doom Screech. You have Grizzled Jarl. I think you have a speed tune there. You might have a 2-to-1 speed tune, or even a 3-to-1 speed tune. You also have Sepulchre Sentinel. You have these champions who you can build. So she's an increased defense champion with a block debuffs for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. She could help you quite a bit. She could extend your life. She also has a decreased attack on her A1. This is actually almost a perfect champion for you right now. Sepulchre Sentinel might be your best option to replace Artak. Like, it depends how long it takes you to get her going. So what happens is, obviously you have the decreased attack on your A1. That's awesome. That's going to extend your life. Right now, she is a different affinity than Newt, so that's going to be good for the decreased attacks. Then you have an increased defense and a block debuffs. Increased defense is going to be great for a lot of reasons. Don't forget that Newt is also a defense-based damage dealer, so he's going to hit harder with an increased defense on the team. But everybody's going to live longer. But then this block debuffs can actually potentially cover both the slow and the stun. And so even more than Doom Priest, this might be the champion to go for. And you also have this passive that can proc. So she's very good as a clan boss champion because of this A2. I would think about that in the long term. Not long term, I would say midterm, right? Like in the next 2 months. It depends. I mean, if you pull a Demitha or a Man-Eater, then all of a sudden plans change, Okay. So any questions, Deez, before we move on? Sun has announced we are resetting the reaction to the wheels. So if you want to go into the Discord and react to the wheel in the Wheel of Takeover channel, then we'll get ready for our second takeover. These, you don't have to be more prepared. Whatever state you're in, I am happy to help. Don't even worry about it. You're in great shape. This is honestly, this is a very well played account. You are developing this account beautifully. Do not apologize. This is a really nice account. I would be proud. I would be really proud to have this account as like an alt account. If I were running an account, I'd be like, this is fantastic. You've got great champions here that you can think about developing. Obviously, we talked about Gembo. We talked about Ilfrig. We just talked about Sepulchre Sentinel. But you've also got Ugo here, who's going to be great for another Hydra team. You've got at least 2 really good Hydra teams here. We talked about Duke the Pierced. So you've got like your next, say, 4 to 5 to 6 champions that you can develop already picked out. And not one of them is a legendary, by the way, right? Like you're going to be running up Scylla the Drake. She's going to be the legendary you're focusing on for the next few weeks. The rest of the focus can, and Countess Lix, I know you're developing her too. So you can just focus on those 2 legendaries. Don't worry about another legendary. Even if you pull a great legendary, don't worry about them. Get your teams sorted, right? Don't worry about Staltus. He'll be there, right? Get your team sorted with those epics. And you're just going to be in such good shape. You should be in Gold 5 in very little time. And you should be in Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, a little bit after that. And this is without pulling another champion. You don't need another champion. Go get some, right? Go get a Duchess if you can. But yeah, no need to apologize. That was really fun. I enjoyed that one. Absolutely. All right, so we are going to shut this one down. Son, how are we doing on the Wheel of Takeover?
I think we're about ready when you are. We'll give everybody 1 more minute. It's the final countdown. I really wanted to do the sound after that, but for copyright purposes. Sorry.
Sabik says Ursula could work as well. Does it decrease attack and increase attack? Ursula is an okay spot clan boss champion. Yeah, for that decreased attack. And she's tanky, right? She's kind of inherently tanky, and she provides that revive, so you can always use that. Like if you have squishy champions who are dying in an early clan boss team, going up to around Brutal or so, she could be pretty good. Getting into Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, she's going to wear thin. She's definitely not an Ultra Nightmare team champion. But she's one of those champions that I think when you build her and get her on your roster, you don't realize how good she's going to be until you start using her, especially in Doom Tower. Just absolutely outstanding. If you don't have a Doom Tower speed aura and you pull an Ursula, she's great for wave content, she's great for bosses, and she gives you a nice 24% speed aura for Doom Tower. Burgess is a great champion for a lot of content, Dino. And you can run him in Clan Boss. You can. But I think, like Ursula, he probably maxes out as a good Brutal champion, and then he's going to start, showing his weaknesses. Neothin says, only 5 minutes, not a bad sidebar. Thanks, Neo. I didn't get too distracted.
Did you catch what happened there with Neo?
No, what did he say?
Like 5 minutes before that, when you said really quickly, we'll touch on this, Neo goes, for the record, it's 2:41. And so everybody was keeping a running track of how long the sidebar was.
I do get distracted by sidebars. J. Smith Blood is the winner. Congratulations. That's awesome. I hope J. Smith is here. We just had the reaction, right? So, Jay Smith, congratulations on your taker. Go ahead and shoot me your information. DM me in Discord. That's how you want to do that. And then Sun will get you all set up so you can jump into the voice channel with me. You're going to want to mute your stream so that you can hear me in real time because there is a slight stream delay. Eric says, it was 1 pixel from me. 1 pixel, Eric. That pixel had it in for you. Probably related to RNGesus.
I don't know any cousins named Pixel.
Are you calling yourself RNGesus?
Well, I guess after my haircut, maybe not so much, but
Not as much.
They used to call me the RNGesus.
No, they didn't. Nobody did. Nobody did that.
Yeah, they did.
I hang out with you every day. Nobody called you RNGesus.
That was before the Captain Hot Hands, man.
Captain Hot Hands,
That's how it started. The RNGesus when I had hair down to my back, man.
Lord High Supreme Commander, and the Troll, and the Boy Under the Stairs. All those things they call you. Nobody called you RNGesus.
The boy who lived
The boy who
under the stairs.
the boy who lived under the stairs. Better be careful. I'm going to make sure you have a scar so everybody knows you're the boy that lived. Gonna give him a nice little lightning bolt right here.
Add it to
right
the lore.
here. I'm gonna come visit you in Florida.
Please,
I'm gonna bring some
Please, no. Don't do
some
it, son.
tattoo needles while you're sleeping. Just tap them in gently into the head. You're gonna have to regrow your hair long to cover it up. Child abuse. Oops. Not child abuse. He's no child.
Papa.
And it's defense. It's defense. That's all it is. It's self-defense for me.
It's all in self-defense.
It's all in self-defense. Yeah. All right. I'm not hearing from our winner. Jay Smith Blood, we're going to give you a few more minutes, buddy, but you need to send me a DM that at least lets me know that you're alive and you're aware that you have won, because we've got like 145 other people that would like a takeover today. So hopefully you're here. I want to give you your win. I mean, you know, who knows when it'll happen again. So we're going to give them about, let's see, it's 2:54. Oof. And how long we've been waiting? Since 2:51. We've been waiting 3 minutes. All right, we'll give it another 3 minutes, Jay Smith Blood. Oh, I got a message. No, that was D's. Here's another message. There's Jay Smith. All right. Neo, thank you, buddy. Great stream so far today.
Neothan. Great stream so far today. Looking forward to seeing the new series come to the channel. Smiley face.
I love that it said smiley face. Thank you, Neo. That's great. I'm so used to the stream not saying the words that I wanted to start reading the text, just like I do with chat sometimes, or all the time. But that was actually cool, this text-to-speech there. Did you change the voice, son?
It wasn't me.
You changed the voice back.
That was we got.
You changed.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you did. We had we had an argument about the best voice, and Son just went in there and switched the voice back. You probably did it months ago, and I just recognized it because I'd forgotten that we did that.
You know what? I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna check which voice it is, and it's gonna be the one that you chose, and we're all gonna laugh at you.
I don't think that's true because mine has an American accent.
Either that or it got reset somewhere else.
Just saying hello, guys. No questions today. All right, Wentworth. We don't mind questions. Did I win the Archer on my free-to-play? I did, Jacob. I did. It was awesome. And I will be sharing that with everybody in tomorrow's video. We had to wait because I have committed to doing that Monday update video, the weekly update video, and so we didn't want to put it out on Monday. And then today we had the live stream, so we didn't have time. We're trying to prepare for what Neo was just talking about. We've got this new series, this video series launching in March, and so we're just like working our fingers to the bone, burning the midnight oil, burning the candle at both ends, as they say. So it's been a bit of a crazy time. So we haven't quite gotten to that video, but we will be releasing that video tomorrow. That's the plan. All right, let me get to Jay Smith's. Jay Smith's takeover. All right, Jay. So go ahead and shoot me a DM. What kind of takeover would you like today? Remember, everybody, no gear cleanses today. Do not ask me for a gear cleanse. It's not happening today. I don't have the time, focus, or energy for another gear cleanse today. Sean Hodge, is it the voice of Geo?
Yeah,
Alex,
see,
to pull
it's still set to the one that you wanted, my friend.
No, it's not. You lie. What's the name of the voice?
I just went in there and checked.
What's the name of the voice?
Matthew.
That might have been it, actually. I thought it was Phil. There was Phil.
Yeah, it is.
There was Phil. It is Phil, right?
It's the one you wanted. No, it got set to whatever the one you wanted was. I personally voted for Brian.
Right, Brian's awful.
the British. That's the common known across the Twitch sphere.
He's horrible. Brian is awful.
The greatest one of them all. It's so perfectly combo of troll.
What is going on here?
That's Brian.
I'm sorry, I'm having a technical issue with my Plarium Play. This is weird. I have logged into Jay Smith's account and it no longer recognizes that I have RAID on my computer. Like, it wants me to install RAID, but if I switch back to my account, it sees RAID just fine. What is going on? Let's try again. Our dwarf king was ready. He's the dwarf king now. He's like 6'3". Why won't it? It won't give me the option to launch the game from your account, Jay. This is my account. So I can launch my account just fine. But then if I switch over to your account, the option to launch the game disappears. All right, but I'm going to go through it this way. All right, I was able to, that's weird. The button disappeared, the homepage disappeared. I checked on Banana's account and that was fine over there. It was really weird. Alex, member for 2 months. All right. Welcome back, my friend. Enjoy the new badge, the purple badge you got. Shadowkin. We've got a Shadowkin in the house. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. They're shadowy. They're shadowy. No, Alex has won. Alex, you've had 2 takeovers, haven't you? Okay, Smithblood 2, level 92 account. Let's check out the login date. We are working on Gerda Bog Brew. So this is what, maybe 18 months-ish? Something like that? No, it's more than that. Like 20 months, maybe? Yeah, I tried restarting it today. It just, I had to go through some weird pages to find it. I don't know what was going on. Let's look at the roster. Okay, so we've got an older, like a more time in game account here. But as we can see, like spread out a little bit in terms of the 60s, but we do have 20. We have 28 fully built level 60s, or at least, you know, built to level 60. And then we have 1, 2. Let's see. This is all the way down to here, all the way down to Lady Mikage, which you recently acquired. So that's 16 additional 60s. And we got a bunch of 50s. We do have the Torment the Cold. You got Corvus, my buddy right there. I want Herndig. He's one of the few champions I really still want, who's not a Void Legendary. You got your Burn Geary. Got a Septimus. Good old Septimus. Got your Lady Annabelle. Giz card with 4 stars. You've got your 5-star soul on Zenogre. Zenogre. Why am I calling her Zenogre? Her name's not Zenogre. Son calls her Zenogre. Other people are calling her Zenogre. It's Zenogre. It's an ogre. She kills an ogre. Zin ogre, not Zenogre. She's not like, I don't know, like the great Latin American hero Zenogre. You know, like she's not. It's Zin ogre. Busted newts. You got yourself Walking Tomb Drang. Got a nice account here. You got nice champions. You've got your Godseeker. You got your 5-star Soul on Blizzard. That must be really nice. I wish I had a 5-star Soul on Blizzard. You do have your Mithrala. Got your Emic. Emic is awesome. You've got a Rotos. Rotos is fantastic. You've got 2 newts, both built as 6 stars. That is the sickest thing we've seen in a while. Having 2, anybody who's got 2 newts, that's just like winning the game. You've got your Arbiter. Really nice account. Rathalos with the 4 stars already. 4-star soul. Let's check out the vaults. Hey, you got a 6-star Seeker, 6-star Demythus, 6-star Allure. You've got the Eris, so clearly the Myth Era is there. Right there, it's sitting in the vault. I don't know if you have Deacon. Did I see a Deacon? I don't think I saw a Deacon. So maybe you're running it with one of the other compositions, Double Seeker or something. Bunch of legendaries down here. You got Roshguard the Tower. You got 2 Roshguard the Towers. You have a Man-Eater. Ragash. I love this champion. You've got your Carl, also really great champion. Got another mythic over here. Man. Got the champs. You've got the champ. All right, let's see. What are you looking for today, Jay Smith? Sand Devil, process, if possible. Okay, so let's look at your Godseeker. She is 51. She is not in the fast build. She's in the slow build. You do have her fully booked in the slow build. All right, so in the slow build, fully booked, you need a champion who dies. You need a DPS to die. If you're running slow and you're running fully booked, you cannot If you're running slow and you're running fully booked, the DPS needs to die fast or not die at all. If the champion doesn't die at all, that's fine. If it just dies when Godseeker dies, that's fine. So you actually do have two options. Now, Walking Tome Drang would be the combo, right? And he's built, he doesn't have regen, so he would die, but he would probably die at the wrong moment. Does she have the blessing on her? She does. She has Miracle Heal. She's got a 3-star Miracle Heal. She's not fully masteried, and she's not fully maxed. So you've got the 3-star blessing. So we can probably run slow. If you only had the 1-star blessing, I would say you can't run slow. But at 3 stars, you can probably run slow and still do it. But Walking Tome Drang, if he's going to be the guy, he needs more than this. This isn't enough. You don't have to run him faster. You could actually run him slower, but you would need a full regen set. And you would need him probably... You're close to the HP. You're close. But I would say I would shoot for at least 75 to 80 as a minimum. Somebody's saying he has ninja. Does he have ninja in the vault? You have ninja? No ninja. Jay, there's so many different builds for this. There's so many different builds for this. So you can go fast or slow. You can go booked or unbooked. You can go DPS dies or DPS lives. Those are the 6, like the 3 pairings of things. And each combo takes a different kind of setup. But you can do all of those things. So it depends what we've got. Now we need to find a DPS. Now, I might just try Newt. I know there's a setup with Newt where he does his damage after. I might just try Newt at first. But I'm trying to think about whether Godseeker Neri looks like she has enough, maybe. Her defense is only 3k. So I would prefer this defense to be at least 3,500. The defense may be low. The HP's at 70, which is actually enough. Mike, you run your Sand Devil with Newt and Godseeker? Yeah, this might work. This might work. I mean, obviously she has more levels. She's going to get more base HP, and this HP is going to continue to rise. That's an unfortunate accuracy check because she doesn't need accuracy, right? But maybe this was on somebody else and it was valuable then, and then you pulled it off of them. We could look at the gear. I don't know that we have to. Let's just see it. So there's a weird in between speed where you're doing the slow build, but there's a slow build and there's a fast slow build. And the slow build means that you only get 4 turns. But when you get those 4 turns changes whether you're the slow build or the fast slow build. So I'm still learning this, but I'm like, I've ever since I made that video, I've just been loving Sand Devils all of a sudden. Like, I'm like, this is a really cool puzzle. I don't like any other composition. Right now, all I care about is the Godseeker and Eerie composition. But so what we would probably do here is pull these teams out and we'll set up a Godseeker team. And we're going to start with Newt. And we'll see if that works. I mean, we have other options. You can actually do a Cold Heart. Cold Heart is not bad. That might be the next best option because she's Void Affinity and then you don't have to worry about her. But I don't want to mess with your build. So depending on where she's built, we'd have to see. But let's try Newt. Let's try Newt for now. And the setup is going to be... we're going to actually have to mess around with it, because it could be that we want him to use his A2, and it could be that we want him to use his A3, and I don't actually know. So I'm not going to mess around with that right now. We'll just leave that. This should be fine. I'm not going to do an opening, I don't think. But she's running slower than the boss. I think she's still running slower than the boss at this level. She might not be, but we can just manual the opening. We'll take off super raids. All right, let's... Whoops. Let's try this. Yeah, it may be that we need more defense for... So we are going first here, so I'm just going to A1. And then it should be... You can let him do whatever he wants to do, I guess. Should have done his A3, probably. But okay, so they're going to both die here. Godseeker comes up. She's going to revive him. And then he... I'm not sure if he's going to do his A2 or his A3 here. Let's see what he does. He does his A3. Okay. So at this level, we'd probably be better off just having him do his A2 and then doing his A3. Now, we can't have him die at the wrong time. If he dies at the wrong time, that's going to end this. So we're actually in a risky place here. He's like too tanky. He's literally too tanky. Or he's not going to be tanky enough. He's going to be like in between, right? He's too tanky to die quickly and not tanky enough to stay alive the whole time. By the way, here with Newt, because he has this max HP, you can just go ahead and like launch that every time. And even when the boss isn't asleep, it does a ton of damage. All right, so now he dies. We're going to get the revive. I think we actually want an A2 here. We get the weaken. And then we do the A3 after the boss wakes up. And I think you actually get a little bit more damage there. We maybe even could speed him up just a tiny bit, so he might go before the boss wakes up. So see, that hit should kill your DPS. That's this one, the Dune Tempest. You want the Dune Tempest to kill your DPS. Or you want the DPS to live the whole time. You can't get killed on a different turn. Like, if you get killed now, you waste the passive, and then when Godseeker dies, she won't come back. So this is actually a pretty risky setup, and now he's dead, and now he used it up, so we're dead. So the run has failed. See? So now the passive's done. So that's what you need. You need your DPS to either die right away or to live the full round, even with their HP getting destroyed. That's where the regen comes in. That's why you want to have regen on your damage dealer. And it almost doesn't matter who the damage dealer is. You just want somebody who's got a good hit. It could be a max HP hit. It could be an HP burn. You could do poisons and bombs. You can use like a Nishak. You can do all sorts of damage dealers who have like big one-time hits. So what we want to do here is I think we're going to swap out Newt here. I don't want to rebuild Newt. And instead what we're going to do is we're going to look for another champion. I'm going to take a look at your Cold Heart, because she would be really simple. I don't know that she's necessarily going to get us everywhere we want to go. 58% crit rate in a destroy set with protection and Phantom Touch. This is a bit weird. Is this Cold Heart built for like a speed tune? Is she speed tuned for something specific? Like, is she a Scarab boss Cold Heart or something? Jay, is this Cold Heart used in a specific team? She's Spider? Okay. Okay. Do you mind if I look at rebuilding her? We could probably make her better for Spider at the same time. J. Smith Blood is typing. Okay, cool. So all right, we're going to look at a full rebuild here because I don't think I can salvage this destroy set. It's not bad, by the way. I don't want anybody thinking that the reason I'm doing this is because this is bad. Crit damage, gloves with crit rate percentage, and speed as a substat. That's a very good chest as well. No crit rate there, unfortunately. That's why you're not reaching the 70%, right? If this chest had 12% crit rate, you'd be there. Or, yeah, 12% crit rate, you'd be there. Crit damage and crit rate on the boots. Great boots. Crit rate and crit damage on the shield. Very good shield. You could probably get, you might be lucky enough to get another roll in the crit rate here. Here you're looking for speed and accuracy. You've got crit rate and crit damage. Like, the build is not bad. The concept behind the build is not bad. You didn't hit the numbers that you needed on crit rate, unfortunately. And I don't know that the destroy set is really the set that matters for her. I will say this. You don't need an attack percentage chest plate on Cold Heart. In fact, you typically don't want an attack percentage chest plate on Cold Heart. The best chest plate is HP percentage. The reason is she doesn't get that much extra damage out of the increase in attack. Like, if you're all the way at end game and you have her specifically speed tuned for like an Iron Twins composition or, a Dark Fae composition or some other team where she's not going to take a hit at all, then you put the attack percentage chest plate on her. But if she's going to take a hit ever, or if she has the potential of taking a hit, you want her in the HP chest. Not only does that make her more survivable, but it makes her less likely to be the target, which is actually even more important. So what we want to do here is let's take a look at fitting room. And we're going to start with those crit damage gauntlets and see if we've got a good crit damage gauntlet. The perception set is nice. The instinct set is nice. Merciless could be really nice. Merciless could be really nice. 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown when dealing damage. You could get back to Heartseekers really fast with that. That would be awesome if you had Merciless set on it. I mean, it would be also awesome on like Newt, so I don't know if you're trying to save that for Newt. This is a really nice glove for her. Doesn't have speed substats, unfortunately. Let me actually, when I'm doing gear, I should shrink myself down a little bit. So let me just. Come on, I can find the camera. There we go. All right. So people can see the stats. So if this had a speed substat, this would be perfect, but it's actually not bad at all. I mean, it's got a 19% crit rate on it. I also like this cruel piece. It's got accuracy, attack, and crit rate with crit damage. Again, not a speed not a speed substat. For right now, let's just do this because you're moving towards endgame and she needs a lot of accuracy at endgame to do work in Doom Tower. And also like hard mode dungeons if you're going to ever bring her in there. So we'll try to shoot for as much accuracy as we can reasonably get on her. So let's try this first. Actually, let me just look at the Merciless set here. Do you have any merciless? No, that's stone skin. You're really close to a merciless build. You're really close. You're like one piece away. And I think you could even shoehorn it in. Like, I think you could make it work, but it wouldn't be optimal. And it's almost like I'd rather build just to make sure that we clear Sand Devils. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with the where the heck? I'm gonna go with the perception piece first. It's also got more crit rate. Okay, now here's the thing. We can build her with 70% crit rate for the Heartseeker. That's totally fine. We can also build her with 100% crit rate because she uses her other hits and other content. I actually have mine built to 100% because I like her A1 and A2 to hit that little bit of extra damage. And if you're pushing that crit damage, why not, right? Why not get it anyway? So we'll look at that. Now let's look at a chest piece. We do want primary stat can be HP. See if we can find crit rate. Where would this be? Rule is an interesting option. Fatal's an interesting option. That's got a lot of crit rate on it. That could be really nice. Got attack. Yeah, that could be really nice. Divine speed. It's got accuracy. That's good. We need the accuracy. Let's look at cruel. That's a new piece. Go with speed. You could go with relentless. That's really nice. Relentless will let you get around to stuff. It won't help you in Sand Devils, but it would help you in other places. Relentless could be really nice. Let's take a look at the Relentless just to see if there's enough. Actually, let's see if speed, accuracy, and crit rate. See if there's any piece that has the perfect trio. Just these pieces. All right. Let's take that off. Doesn't look like there's a really good relentless set there. There's not enough speed on it. I get, I could look at the equipped pieces and see if I could steal from somebody, but I'm trying to do this without doing that right now. So we'll take off these pieces. Let's put that shield back on. Actually, let's put this back on as well. Another set that we could look at is crit damage. Okay, so now let's look for a speed boot. We're up to 80%. Now we can really put any kind of damage set on that we want. If we find cruel, that would be right, maybe with crit damage. There we go. She doesn't need relentless, but relentless is just a good set for champions where you want to have those cooldowns come back around faster, right? So for this, you don't need it because you get the reset from Godseeker and Eerie. But it's, we're just looking at it. We're just looking at it. What's our speed right now? 163. We're slow. This can go up though, so we'll get 14 more speed. I would still like more speed, but we can also glyph speed. We still have a roll on this. We got 2 rolls on that, so we could hit some more speed. We've got 299 accuracy so far. I can lose some crit rate for speed. I could trade it away. I would actually really like 100% crit rate. Let's just roll up. Let's hope we have some silver. We have 13.5 million silver. Let's roll this up to see if we get crit rate or speed. We got some speed there. So that's nice. Let's roll this up and see how we do here. This isn't like the perfect build. You know, I would prefer having her in more ignore defense. Speed. That's unfortunate. That didn't really roll all that well. $224. So I mean, if we're looking at the the stats here, it's like we've traded away some attack and a tiny little bit of speed, which we're going to be able to get back. By the way, we're going to be faster. We did get more crit rate, crit damage, and more accuracy. What we lost was the destroy set, right? Like that's what we basically traded away for all of these stats. Yeah, I'm not worried about the minimum speed. What I'm worried about is making her as effective in as many places as possible. I would like her to run between 200 and 220. You know, when I rebuild a champion, I'm a free-to-play player. I don't think about just one solution unless that champion is designed only for that one solution. She's actually designed for more than that. You know, she can go into a lot of different places. This piece is actually really nice. I wonder if... Let me see if there's anything in the... No. All right. Yeah, no worries, Jay. I'm just not solving one problem. That's all. You know, I'm trying to do more than that. All right, so this is a completely unglyphed setup here. We've got 299 accuracy. The one downside is the 89% crit rate. I should either trade away the 19% to get more stats elsewhere, or I should pick up the 11% to max it out. Being at 89 isn't bad, but it's like, meh. You know, like you could do better. You could do better with this build. Like I've got this piece here that, you know, is 19%. I've got this piece that's 19%. This piece has no crit rate. Again, that might be the issue. Let's see it if we can pick up 11% in the cruel set. Let's see what we can find here. That's also HP and it has crit rate, but it doesn't have speed. So we'd be trading away 6 speed, but we also can't glyph it. Here's accuracy with crit damage and crit rate. Accuracy is not awful. If I'm not going to go with HP as a stat, I don't necessarily need attack. I could go with accuracy. That would push her accuracy to a really nice number. I could also roll this up. This is an attack percentage chess piece with all the stats that I want, basically, except that defense percentage. If this accuracy had speed on it, it does have the crit damage, though, which could boost our crit damage even better. And we're only trading away 6 speed, right? It's not a huge loss. This might be even better. The thing is, it doesn't go all the way. We would need a crit rate roll. We'd need a crit rate roll on this. I'm going to roll it just to see. If we get a crit rate roll on this, this is our chess piece. And the delay, the lag. Tell us, I want to know. Sorry about that, man. That's unfortunate. Ah, can't believe I did that. Now I gotta go back and reassemble this. I remember it. It's just annoying. Oh, look. We've got the glitch here. It won't actually show me now. I hate when it does that. Okay. You have to try something else on. I have to swap champions, I think. I hate that glitch. It's a relatively new glitch, too. Didn't used to happen. All right, so we had that. We were trying to figure out the chess piece, but we did have the crit damage perception. They're very nice. And then for these three, we had perception for all three. Let's roll this one up. There it is. That allows us to get out of that chest plate. I think we can go to any chest plate we want now. All right, so up to 366 accuracy, which is a really nice number. 248% crit damage. We did lose a little bit speed, but we're gonna get out of this crit rate. I think we're 9% tall. So can we get out of? Unfortunately, I don't think we can get out of anything. We've got a little bit less attack. We've got a little bit less HP. More defense, actually. She needs to be squishy, you know? So I think the accuracy chest plate is fine in this for this particular concept. Let's see about the what's she running? Crit damage with accuracy, that's good. What's she running as a banner? Accuracy, no speed. Probably swap this one. Yeah, lose a little bit of HP, lose a little bit of defense. You get the accuracy back when you level it up to 16. You'll actually get more accuracy. Plus, we've got extra speed here. And that gets us all the way back on our speed. We're actually faster now. And then I think we just glyph it up a little bit. So let's just glyph some speed. We don't even need to put anything else on. Got a lot of 1-star, a lot of 1-star speed glyphs. We're going to get 5 or 6 speed out of this. That's all we're really going to get. But I think that'll get us over 180, which should be enough for this purpose, but I would definitely look to get her faster. What are we? We're 180. That should be fine for now. I think that's enough. So definitely better build here. It is over 100% crit rate, 100% 9. So you could actually look for a piece to, pull back a little bit. Maybe you get a 6-star chest plate. Again, do you need 350 accuracy for this? No, but that's okay. Like, you do for other content. I have my Cold Heart running at like 600 accuracy or 550 or whatever it is. It's crazy high numbers. All right. Let's go check out now we got to see if this is actually going to help us here. Why am I in Doom Tower? I can never click the right thing. Dungeons. Sand Devils. Pay attention. Talking to myself. All right, so let's do the team setup here. Now, the nice thing about this, that max HP hit, it's really good anytime. But hopefully she'll be a lot squishier than Newt and she'll just die. Open with the A1, kill, Godseeker goes, revive, max HP. That wasn't a huge hit. It wasn't a huge hit, but that's okay. She should die right away. That's beautiful. I was hoping she was going to do more damage on her Heartseeker than that, but what the heck just happened? You should die to this. That's fine. That's what we want. Why is Godseeker's revive cooldown so short right now? She's going to revive here. She's going to die again, and it's going to burn. Okay, that's actually okay, but then we don't have the revive. Could run both Newts at that stage in just A3. That's actually true. That's not a bad call. Okay, so see, this is a 3-turn. What? Why are we out of sync here? Now we're going to die. All right. So now you can see the passives on a 3-turn cooldown. Right, so 3 more turns. Now the regular revive comes up. Max HP hit. Should be an A2 here. A1. And now we're back to a 1-turn cooldown. Revive. She's going to die again and burn the passive. Something happened here with the speed change. Because we're running Cold Heart slower, Godseeker has taken an extra turn. You can run her slow with a 3-star. You can run her through with a C-star. I just did it on a takeover the other day. It actually works great. I've tried it with a 1-star and it doesn't work, but the 3-star works. The 75% chance is typically enough. Depends on your stats, of course, right? It all it gives you basically is stat cushion. Like the heal by healing your destroyed health, you basically make yourself tankier. So the higher your starting HP, the tankier you are even with destroyed health. So it's a combination of all of those things. I think Godseeker Aniri for right now is just running a little fast at this lower stage. She might be just running a little too fast for the stage that we're at. We need to get past this stage, and then her speed won't be a problem. So I'm going to look for regen pieces that we could swap out that are a little bit slower, that are still good. We still need the survivability. We can't give away the survivability. But if we could run a little bit slower, like this would lose us 18 speed. Let's see about maybe something that's already 16. This loses us 5 speed. That's probably not enough. I probably want to drop down below 240 if I could do it. Yeah, I'm basically... That's true. I mean, the issue here isn't the regular revive. It's the passive revive. No, it is the regular revive. She's reviving. Yeah, you're right. We can manual it. I think we could just manual it. I think we can just manual it. And then hopefully we can start autoing it in a turn or two. Okay, so we'll just manual it. We'll see how it works. All right, so now this is the revive. And this is the max HP hit. And that's okay. We use the A2. We use the A1. So we just need to not revive Coldheart. That's all it is. Just don't revive her accidentally. Like, just let her be dead, right? So we just A1 all the way around. Revive. Max HP hit. A2. So this is where she would revive, and that would burn the passive at the wrong time, and then Godseeker would stay dead. So we just need to not do that. As long as we don't do that, we're fine. It's going to take a little bit, yeah. We can actually do it kind of on a half auto once I figure out the cycle. Like, I don't need to manual the whole thing. Okay, so auto. Dead. Auto. And now we manual. We need to manual 2 turns, I think. And now we can auto. I don't know if this cycle will change because the speeds aren't perfect, you know. Then we manual 2 hits and auto. We just have to manual those 2 hits so we don't use the cooldown. Why is the boss healing? Where's that healing coming from? Sand Devil heals based on the percentage of destroyed HP. So because her HP is so destroyed, he gets a bigger heal, right? Removes all debuffs, then heals him. The amount healed is proportional to the total amount of destroyed max HP on the enemy team. All right, so this is the manual. This is the manual. Then we should get killed. Passive. All right, so she does this. And then what we need to do is regen some of her HP. It's not happening, though. Like, she's not getting any really max HP restored. She's getting a little bit. That's a big heal compared to the damage we're doing. It heals like 2/3 of the damage we do. All right, so we're right there. I'm just trying to mark the location. How many bars do we actually destroy? 6 bars. And then he gets almost 3 bars back. So he's regenning half of what we're doing. I know you can only just heal. No, you can heal. So there's a mechanic where you can heal HP when the boss is asleep with any heal. The boss gives you the power to regenerate destroyed HP. But if you have Miracle Heal, then you can heal anytime you heal. Like you can restore it anytime you heal, even if it's not on that turn. So I'm wondering if Cold Heart is because it's like, where's the destroy mechanic? So whenever an enemy decreases turn meter, destroys the max HP of that enemy by the same percentage. So she's always going to have like a maxed out destroy. So that's something that I didn't really think about when getting Cold Heart. You were right. Potentially the accuracy is a problem now. So if you only have one Cold Heart built, it might not be the best to use her in here. We'll get through this stage. I think the Cold Heart build is good, and it can be usable in other places. So we'll leave it. But in order to get through this, it's going to take a long time. It'll work. It'll work fine, but it's just going to be slow. So you would want a Cold Heart without accuracy for Sand Devil. You have more than one Cold Heart? Okay. I mean, the nice thing about Cold Heart is she is Void Affinity, so you don't have to build multiple champions to like go up all the levels. Once you're at max level, you'd probably want somebody better than Cold Heart, right? You'd probably bring in Walking Tomb Drang at that point. But for right now, like we need somebody to get us through the floors where Walking Tomb Drang is weak affinity. Plus, he's not built right for this yet. Like, we could maybe do a rebuild on him too, but this is where you build a macro. Yeah, so the cycles, you know, like I said, what I was saying at the beginning is that you can build a fast Godseeker and a slow Godseeker. You can build a DPS that dies and a DPS that lives. You can have all your cooldowns booked, or you could not book all your cooldowns. Like, and each combo requires different things. You know, so for instance, if the champion lives, then you don't care about the passive cooldown. I'm sorry, you don't care about the... Yeah, so if the champion lives, I should have... I didn't cycle there, right? If the champion lives, then you have more flexibility in terms of the cooldown on the active revive. Right? Because you're never using the active revive except when both champions are dead. So you don't have to have it booked. Or you don't have to have it booked a specific way. You know, and then if you're running fast, you get more turn. Like, if you have a lower blessing, if you don't have the tier 5 blessing or a 5-star blessing, then if you run faster, you get an extra turn, and that extra turn is going to give you another chance at a heal, and that's more likely to keep you alive without the 5-star blessing. So, you know, you have that as well. So, like, it changes the considerations for Godseeker, it changes the consideration for the DPS. There's all sorts of differences. So you kind of have to figure out the combo for you. Now, when I did my video on this, I didn't know any of that. I had a fully booked Godseeker. I didn't have an option of not booking my Godseeker. And then, you know, I didn't realize I could just let Selenia die, so I didn't even try to build her that way. Now, I couldn't do it with a fully booked Godseeker running fast. I would have had to run her slow, and I didn't have the blessing. So I was able to get to stage 25 with no blessing, and fully booked, you know, and it's like that, and a rare champion. So that was like the innovation in the video. That's not the best way to do it. That's just the way I had to do it, because that was the condition, you know, of my champion. I didn't really have an option to do anything else with it. If you have a 4-star blessing, yes, you can run slow. As long as you have a 3-star blessing, you can run slow. If you only have a 1 or 2-star blessing or no blessing, you have to run fast. Unless you have absolutely god tier crazy regen gear and you can put 110,000, you know, HP on Godseeker. Yes, that's the way you do that. Sorry, I got distracted. I made a mistake. All right. You said you have more than one cold heart. The other one's 5-star. Okay. Let me check Godseeker for a second here. I don't know. Like, do I want to break her accuracy now? Like, did I do the wrong thing and put accuracy on? Like, this build works so much better in so many other places. And the problem is, we just need to get through this one level, and I don't want to manual it this way. I kind of want to just. I'll leave her alone, and I'll break Godseeker. I think I'll break Godseeker. I think that's what we got to do, so that we could just put it on on auto and let it go. Double newt it? How? Like, how do I do that? Right? Because I can't do it with Godseeker. I can't run a double newt with Godseeker. I mean, double newt's a good, good option. Let's see, maybe we can swap this weapon out. This weapon doesn't have a lot of HP on it, but it's got a lot of speed. So what if I just find a weapon that's got less speed, but's got some HP on it? I think I need to lose. I think I only need to lose 15 speed. This might be enough here. I'm only giving away. How am I giving away 1,000 HP? Oh, because there's also HP on. Okay. Yeah, sauce. Like I you can put a team together. I'm just saying we can't do it with this works. There we go. All right, let's see if we can do it now. I think even if I took the accuracy chest and I took the accuracy banner off and changed those, we would lose 140 accuracy. That would take us down to 210. Let me check the Sand Devil stages. I think we're on stage 16. Accuracy, that would put us below the threshold. So you need 345 accuracy here, and as you go up, you need more than that. So we could do that. We could do that too. Maybe this would work really well. So let's go back to... Maybe an attack percentage chest plate. I wouldn't mind gaining a little speed. I think that would help actually. We lose some accuracy here. We can afford to give away a little bit of crit rate too. So we're actually potentially doing a good thing here for this fight, you know, for other, I don't know, maybe. And then we would do what, this? And we would look for attack. That drops us all the way down to 220, which is still good enough for dungeons, and you can glyph on the last bit of accuracy. So that's good up to stage 25 dungeons. It's not great in Doom Tower, but you can always make this swap later. Let's try this. Let's run this up to 12. See if we get some accuracy or speed or crit damage. Crit damage, double roll into crit damage. That's nice. Roll this up to 12. Good thing it's a CVC. You get points for all these rolls. That's not bad. A little bit more defense than we wanted. She should still die really easily. But we eked out a little bit more crit damage here. And a little bit more speed. This actually feels even better. He should still die. And I think we might be able to do this on full auto now. We might be able to do this on full auto. Dungeon. It's a dungeon. No, she's still way too fast. Why is she that fast? I was doing this the other day at like 235 and it was working perfectly. And I'm just wondering if it's because when you have like it's the gap between her and Coldheart. If Coldheart is actually running faster, Godseeker may get pushed back and drop down at speed ranking. But it's actually 2 turns, which is really weird. So now we auto. Now we manual 2 turns. We're going to have to manual 2 turns anyway, but hopefully the boss will heal less this way. Let's see. And we might even do a little bit more damage here. So let's see. Let's count the bars here. 7 bars, a little bit more than 7 bars that time. Yeah, it's only 1.5 bar heal there. That was less, definitely. So might be a little bit faster. Still got a manual. Sorry, sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. I was hoping to be able to get a full auto here. We just need to get past 16. I think once we get to 17, we'll be in a little bit better shape. So we did actually lose a turn. By slowing down, we lost a turn there. And you can see here I'm only doing 1 manual attack instead of 2. Because before I was doing 2 manual attacks. So we get killed. I do 1 more. Now I have to manual once. So the boss actually gets 2 attacks in a row. That's what I was talking about before when I was saying there's a fast slow build and a slow build. Right? So we're still too fast, but we're like in the fast slow build stage now because we get an extra turn there. Or the boss gets an extra turn there. So you could actually do what we were doing before, which I guess so there's maybe 3. There's like a medium slow build, a slow build, and a fast slow build. In all of them, you take the same amount of turns, but where you take the turns is different. So one manual turn. And then it's auto. So we're almost a full auto. So this speed could be full auto on the next difficulty. And now we got a manual 1. So we're going to get attack twice, and then we manual once. And then we have full auto again. Die. We do 1 attack. We manual 1 attack. And it's full auto. Okay, we're getting. You take over my team account to build an Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss team? I could. I absolutely could. The question is, will I do that today? You have to win one in order to get one on a Tuesday. The rest of the time, it's going to be a matter of, if you want to hire me for my services, that's one of the income streams we're going to try to be getting on this channel this month, because we're trying to turn this into a career. And I like doing takeovers. I like helping people. And I don't mind giving away some free takeovers. I've given away, I don't know, at least 50, 60 free takeovers at this point. One attack, and then go. So this is definitely faster in terms of damage, because Cold Heart's HP is just not destroyed as much. So if I just focus and if I don't look at chat, sorry, I've been trying to interact more with chat, but if I don't look at chat, then I can probably get this done and we can move on. So I'm just going to focus right now. I'm just going to focus, count the rhythm, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Something, something. It's bobsled time. Anybody know that? Anybody know that movie? Cool Runnings. John Candy. Yeah, so, I mean, Cold Heart is doing a tiny bit more damage, but she's not, the boss isn't healing as much. I messed that up there. I got lucky. Yeah, it's fun. Pretty low impact. Based on a true story, though, which is pretty cool. I don't know if any of you are old enough to, I'm sure some of you are old enough to remember it. My audience is not super young. But does anybody remember when the Jamaican bobsled team actually competed in the Winter Olympics? Like, I remember when that happened. We were all pulling for Jamaica. We wanted Jamaica to win so bad. It was fun. Alex says, need those member-only takeovers. Yeah, that's something we could do. We have talked about that. Doing a monthly giveaway for members for a takeover. Oh, damn it. Can I revive it now? Will it break? Oh, I'm not going to risk it. It might break. That's my fault. My fault. Is it 88? Sounds about right. Because 84 was Lake Placid, right? Or was like 80 Lake Placid? It's 84 Sarajevo. Guy you went to school with is on the Canadian bobsled team. That's cool. See, that was weird. That felt like he did 2 sleep cycles right back to back. I'm getting distracted by chat again. All right, so there's the double attack. Now we do 1 manual. Now we get killed. Now we should be able to go full auto. That boss should kill us. Or kill gold heart. And then now I just have to do 1 manual attack. 2 attacks. So look here. See, it broke. The speed tune changed. I was getting 2 attacks there. Remember? I was saying I only had to do 1 manual attack, but now I have to do 2. So it did actually change for some reason. So that was what happened. So now we go this. That. Now we turn off the auto. And we were getting 2 attacks back to back here. So now we got 2 attacks back to back. And now I only have to do 1 auto. And now I'm going to get wiped out. And now I go full auto again. And let's see if I have to do 1 attack or 2 attacks here. That's 1. So is it going to be 1 attack or 2 attack? Now it's 2 attack. Great. So now I just have to do... But I now have to do a manual after that. And a manual before it. So, yeah, the speed tune has changed like in the middle of the fight. I'm glad I noticed it because I could have died. Maybe that's what happened on the last run when I died. We are falling behind on the healing. This is where the 5-star blessing would help us. That means we're actually doing the same amount of damage, but now the boss is healing. Damn it. Godseeker does not have to be 6 stars. Oh, you mean... I thought you meant 6-star blessing. You don't need... No. You need a level 60 Godseeker, or at least a 6-star. Like, we're at level 51, but you can see we're getting this done with this build. So you don't actually need to be level 60. But I would highly suggest 6 stars, yes. At least, you know, you might be able to use a 5-star Godseeker Neri to a certain stage. I don't know how far up you could get with her. You know, obviously... Oh, damn it. That was lucky. I thought I just ruined the run there. That was close. That's what I get for talking to chat. Try to do good work. Freaky Gamer, I have a 6-star Godseeker with a 1-star blessing. Could I make that work? You can. That's where I was when I first solved it. Yes, you can make that work. The stat requirements are very high. So you need to get her to 270 speed, although you can use masteries to, you know, because you're going to have an ally that dies. So you could get 8, I think it's 8 additional speed for the dead ally. But you can, in fact, do it with a 1-star blessing or no star blessing. Looks like we're going to get this done if I don't mess up again. Before I put Godseeker in this build, I was trying all sorts of stuff. I was using Cardiel and Ninja and Walking Tome Drang and all sorts of teams and Newt and trying different things. And then I completed it with Godseeker, Neri, and Selenia. And it wasn't that hard. I did it in like a few hours. I had a manual, but I manualed all the way up to 25. And then I put Drang back in, the same Drang I couldn't get up the tower with. And he worked fine at level 25, stage 25. So, you know, I think understanding the fight helps you get up the tower. And by the time you get up the tower, you'll know how to like speed tune, you know, the final floor. But Drang is strong affinity on 25, I think. So he's really great, right? Ninja's weak affinity because it's a force affinity floor. Can you tell some basics we can use to make a team for this? You have some options. I mean, Godseeker is really the easiest way to do it, and it's the only way I've mastered it, like, or even mastered it. I haven't mastered it yet, but it's the only way I've conquered it and like learned how to do it. So you can use a team that uses a regular sleep champion because you can actually put the boss to sleep. He is susceptible to sleeps. It has to be every other turn. It can't be every turn. He gets like a 1-turn immunity to sleep. And then, for instance, you can use like a Cardiel who has an AoE revive on death skill. You can use that. There are a couple of other compositions out there you'll see. But if you just want to get started, what I would recommend is you want a manual for a bit. And what you want to do is you want to learn about the cycle, right? That's why speed tuning is so helpful, because the cycle is really predictable. But so what happens is you can see the cooldowns. You got these 3-turn cooldowns on these big AoEs. But when the boss is like alive and awake and chilling and wrecking you, you can't do much damage against him. On lower levels, you can do some. But when he does that big nuke, you can see how he wraps himself in his wings. He's now asleep. You can force him into this sleep with a sleep champion. He's asleep for 2 turns. Now he's actually susceptible to debuffs because you can't debuff him the rest of the time. And you can hit him really hard. So this is where we bring up our DPS, who then uses a massive nuke. And that, you know, is our damage. And now we get back into the cycle. And he's going to start nuking everybody. Now, the reason that Godseeker and Neri works here is because she has a passive revive. And that passive revive will always revive the leader. Like if multiple people die, it'll revive the leader. So you put her in the lead. And what that means is she will revive herself passively. So she can't be killed unless she's killed twice, you know, before her cooldown resets. Then she has an active revive where she can revive your DPS. So she revives herself with her passive, and she revives her partner with her active revive. Now, the reason I'm manualing right now is because the cooldowns aren't lined up with the speed. So what would happen is right now, if this were on auto, Godseeker would revive Coldheart. The problem with that is then Coldheart would die. And then if the passive is up, you know, so now Godseeker dies, she comes back and I wouldn't have the cooldown. Like I wouldn't have the revive here. But there's another issue, which is that if you revive Coldheart at the wrong time, she's just going to die again, and then she's going to consume your passive revive. And that means Godseeker can't revive herself, and then the team wipes. So that's where the wipe happens. Not every failure is a wipe. Sometimes a failure is just the DPS is dead at the wrong time and doesn't do much damage. But in this particular case, you know, if she gets revived at the wrong time, she'll be alive for the passive. She'll accidentally burn the passive at the wrong time, and then Godseeker dies and the whole thing wipes. So like right now, I can't let her be revived. So I just have to auto. Now I die. I die. Godseeker Aniri dies. That's the passive. Here's the active. And then you get the mass nuke while he's asleep. And that's the cycle that you're going for. And you can find that cycle from a lot of different team comps. But Godseeker Aniri is by far the easiest and the cheapest to build and the one that works with the least, number of champions. How about a traditional clan boss team with a ton of decreased damage, HP burn, and poison with a sleep champ? I don't know. I mean, it's worth trying. So the big nuke here. Ignores shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs, as well as 100% of the target's defense. So you can't use block damage. You can't use unkillable. And you can't even use defense, right? Can't even use shields. So the only way, to really survive that would be to have so much HP, he literally couldn't take it off you, you could have a strengthen. Like a strengthen would reduce the amount of damage that comes in. And maybe an ally protect. I don't know if an ally protect would work. So there might be ways to survive the nuke. But it's really difficult to survive the nuke. And generally what you do is you just have a team that auto revives on the nuke. All right, this should be it, I hope. There we go. All right, so that was 20 minutes. We did get through stage 16. Now, stage 17 will be a little bit faster. So let's see if we can run this at full auto. I doubt it. We probably have to manual this as well. In terms of all the, if you can run mitigations are great. Remember, some mitigations are conditional. If they're conditional on debuffs that he removes, I don't know if they're going to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually just don't know. All right, so she's still too fast. I still have to manual once, but maybe I can just do it at one time. See, the boss is going twice there. I don't think that some people talk about this as like being cheese, like the Godseeker Aniri cheese or something. There's no such thing when you're a free-to-play player. A solution's a solution. Who cares how it works? Like, as long as it's not an exploit, as long as you're playing the game legitimately, it's just a clever solution. It's smart. Free-to-play solutions are really smart. This is a solution that basically takes one champion in a relatively hard build. Like, you still have to achieve that build. And then basically any damage dealer in a build that's going to work, and it's like, that's incredibly smart to me. And the fact that it takes one champion is awesome. I love one champion solutions. As soon as I got my lady Annabelle, I built her for Bommel. She's my Bommel solution. As soon as I got Venom Mage, I built Venom Mage as a solo Dragon and Ice Golem champion so I could have that solo champion. Like, I would rather invest one champion in a fight than 5. Right? It doesn't make sense to invest 5 when you can invest 1. It's not cheap. It's smart. There's nothing wrong with the build, There's nothing wrong with the comp. People talk about the Paragon cheese. Like, the Paragon cheese is annoying when you come up against it in PvP, and it's also annoying when you come up against it in PvE and you don't have a way to remove it, like it's just there permanently. But using him to solve really hard problems is smart if you have them, like, go ahead and use them. Of course you should use them. If you don't object to that, like I don't typically do it because I'm usually invested in other places, but also, like a Paragon solution, like a Lady Annabelle solution, those are not fast solutions. They take some time. And as a result, like, sometimes it's better to build a 5-person team that's going to clear it in a quarter of the time. But yeah, I don't believe in cheese. Like, I just don't think it's a thing. I think it's a term that we use to describe cleverness. That's what I think it is. Like, and efficiency, And sometimes we use it to describe strategies that just barely work. It's like, I had to cheese it. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't get through it the normal way. I had to cheese it. And I don't think that means you cheated. I don't think that means you did anything wrong. I don't think that means your solution wasn't clever. It's just that it was a strategy that took a long time and it barely worked. And it probably won't work as you move up. Like, I had to cheese it. Okay, so you had to cheese it. But now maybe you can, gain some time or some resources to build a normal team. I love those teams. I think they're fantastic. So yeah, I actually haven't gotten around to, in a long time. When Sand Devil first came out, I tried building a sleep team, and I don't even remember which sleep champion I used. I didn't have a great one. It was like a 4-turn cooldown sleep champion or something, or it was like a 20% A1 sleep champ. I don't even remember. And I didn't like this dungeon back then, but now that I've gotten into it a little bit more with this, this composition, I find it a lot more fun. And I think the reason that I like this team composition is because there are 8 different combinations of speeds, cooldowns, and like survivability that you can use to get it done. And so that means that most people who have Godseeker, regardless of your gear, you have an opportunity to get to a solution. Whether you have the blessing or not, So that's the other combination, the blessing or not. The blessing makes all of the different other combos easier. But you only need it for like 2 of the combos. I was just talking to a clanmate about this today. I think I was talking to Dinky. I don't know if Dinky, if you're in here, but we were talking about this. He was asking me about Sand Devil's Necropolis earlier. And I was saying how, there are these different combinations. And you just got to figure out which one works for you. That was the thing about my Godseeker. Like, by the time I got her in here, she was fully booked. So I didn't have the option to not book her. But if you don't book her, you actually have like some more flexibility in terms of doing this dungeon. Or if you don't fully book her. And then some people, how like you get blessings for champions before you even get the champions? So that can happen too. Like, you could be sitting there on a 5-star Godseeker soul, and you don't actually own Godseeker yet. And then you get her and you're like, oh gosh, thanks. I can solve the Sand Devils like instantaneously. Like that can be fun too. I've got souls for champions that like I may never pull. I've got a 3-star Yumiko soul. I think I've got a 3-star Krisk soul. Like, I've got at least a 2-star Sify soul. It's like, I don't have any of those champions. But if I ever get them, I'm going to have good souls ready to just drop on them. Like, the day they hit my roster. Joshua Lynch says, yeah, John Hodgson, you should Paragon Cheese the last campaign stage. The last campaign stage is stupid. More to Macabre is stupid. And you should beat stupidity with more stupidity, right? Like, you should absolutely cheese a More to Macabre. Screw that guy. Absolutely use the Paragon cheese there if it works for you. I couldn't get it to work. I tried like 150 runs and I couldn't get the Paragon cheese to work. And so then I had to go back and like discover some other mechanic. I actually ended up using Maneater, I think. I used like Maneater and Sill of the Drakes or something like that. Joshua Lynch says, went back to rewatch my takeover. Thanks again. You are welcome. I wish that a Deacon rebuild would have happened. Got distracted by the clan insignia. I did or you did? Probably me. That's what I'm assuming. The lady you just said Bommel does Bommel solo. Please explain. I have her. So basically, she has a regen mechanic where whenever an enemy dies or an ally dies, I think she gets a 50% HP heal. The dread bombs, the big bombs that drop around Bommel, are technically enemies. So every time one of them explodes, she gets a 50% HP regen. As a result, as long as you can keep her above 50% HP, she'll never die. She also has healing on her A1. She has a leech if you want to use it, but typically you turn that off. And so as a result, you just need to get her to the boss. You need to get her through the waves and then have everybody else die so she doesn't like get stunned over and over and over by the little bombs. And then she'll just solo the boss. It takes like 8 to 10 minutes. So you build her and regen an immortal. There is a speed threshold. There is also a kind of a defense threshold. There's also a HP threshold. So you need to hit all the numbers. It's not super difficult to achieve. You can do it on like a level 60 account. Shouldn't be hard. Depending on if you've gotten the regen gear, and the immortal gear. But you can do it with 5-star gear. You don't need 6-star gear. You just have to build her the right way. I don't think I've done a full Lady Annabelle. I might have done a Lady Annabelle video. I featured her in a video, but I don't know if I did an explanation of her full build. I did one with Burn Giri and Lady Annabelle. I think I used both, but I'm not 100% sure. You could go back and look for my Bommel videos, or maybe even search Lady Annabelle or Burn Giri, because he has the same exact passive. And that might give you the full build. It's been a while, because Bommel was like the first Doom Tower boss video I did, so that could be like 7 months ago, which is towards the beginning of my channel. Maybe I'll have to cover that again. The way of the cheese. Bommel's easy, don't drop a debuff. At low levels, yeah, you can just get away. As long as you don't turn meter control them and you don't drop a debuff, you could just nuke them out, usually for the first 2 floors. You can bring a full team in there and do that. But once you get up above that, you can't do that anymore. You need to have a solution to handle the dread bombs. And so there are a few solutions. One cheap one is Master Butcher. And so you can use Master Butcher. You can also use Burn Giri or Lady Annabelle, like we said, but you can use Vogoth, or sometimes 2 Vogoths. 2 Vogoths is better than 1. There are some other options as well, but like you could do a 1-shot with Nishak. Nishak Verminlord can 1-shot the top, boss, Bommel boss, floor 90 in hard mode. YST actually came up with that speed tune, and I used it. It's really cool. I eventually broke it. And it wasn't 100%. It was probably about, I would say it was like 70%, maybe 60% for me. But I had the right team for it. The only problem was I needed a specific speed tune, and because of the champions that I had, it had to include Arbiter. And my Arbiter had whatever that passive is. It's not Evil Eye, right? Is it Sniper or Evil Eye? Evil Eye, I think, where you decrease turn meter. And so she would always drop an extra dread bomb. And as a result, sometimes I wouldn't hit the boss with enough of the bombs, and I wouldn't one-shot him, and I'd lose. And I didn't want to like reduce her accuracy or rebuild her or anything, because she was my Arbiter. So eventually I just broke the team, and I when I got Lady Annabelle, I was like, oh, that's great. Now this is a really cheap solution. I don't have to build a one-shot team. Don't get me wrong, one-shot team would be faster, but here's the thing. I don't farm Bommel. I kill him once and I move on. So I don't need a one-shot team, right? I can spend 10 minutes, just let Lady Annabelle do the work, and then I don't have to think about Bommel for, 4 more days. So 10 minutes every 4 days is a relatively small price to pay to have a 100% Bommel team. Can we make a playlist and put all the Doom Tower videos in it? That's a good idea, son. We could do that, maybe. Master Butcher will get you past probably the first 2 Bommels, maybe the third one if you take him to 6 stars. And I never wanted to take mine to 6 stars, but apparently he's also decent in Hydra, so there is a reason to take him to 6 stars now when there didn't used to be as much. But he does have 2 provokes, so if you're looking for a cheap provoke champion that can provide you with a little bit of extra sustain in Hydra, I guess Master Butcher apparently can do the job decently well. Yeah, so there are 6 Bommels, right? Like if you go up through normal, there are 3, and then there are 3 on hard. So it's 10 stage 10, 50, and 90. So I'm pretty sure that he can get you through 90, but it's not easy to do. Like you can't do it with a 4-star Master Butcher. I don't know if you can do it with a 5-star Master Butcher either. He might have to be 6 stars to get through stage 90 of normal. He might be able to do it at 5 stars. Burn Geary can do it at 5 stars. And Lady Annabelle can do it at 5 stars, but you're going to take those 2 to 6 stars anyway. If that's your Bommel solution. And Burn Geary doesn't quite have the sustain. His stats are a little bit different. So he's a little bit of a struggle or when I say a little bit, he's actually a fairly significant struggle at stage 90 hard mode. You can do it. You will need very good gear and a pretty advanced Great Hall to probably be able to do it. But Burn Geary can get it done. Lady Annabelle just walks through it, though. Like, her stat requirements are so much friendlier than his. And as a result, like, if you have the choice between the two, she's the way to go for Bommel. I think it's because his HP pool is really low. Like, his HP pool is only like 17,000, whereas hers is like 21 or something like that. You don't think that sounds like a huge difference, but once you start to try to build tons and tons of HP on somebody, it becomes a huge difference. He does have a little bit more defense, but you actually don't care about the defense as much because the dread bombs ignore defense anyway. So the only reason the defense is important is for the direct hits from Bommel, not for the dread bombs. You don't need souls on Lady Annabelle. I mean, if you can get a Phantom Touch on her, it's probably faster, to do that. But yeah, you don't need any kind of special setup for her. She's a very good champion too. She's also a great Scarab boss solution. You can use her in Centranos for that. She's very hard to kill. She's one of the hardest to kill champions in the game. Like, she's not as hard to kill as Islin, maybe. Like Islin's really, really hard to kill. She's not that tanky. But once you get her in a Bommel build, you can use her in a lot of places. And she actually does okay against waves because she has a pretty good AoE that you don't use against Bommel. But when you're using her in wave content, you can turn it on and she'll actually do decent wave clears. So you could probably have her solo. She might be able to solo Dragon 20 as well. It wouldn't be fast. It wouldn't be like Venom Mage fast. But I bet she could do it. All right, so we've got another stage down. Let's see how we're looking in terms of this auto. Are we going to auto? That's 1. That's 2. Last 3. Now does the boss go? No, unfortunately, we still have to manual. I think we're one more stage away from a full auto. But we still have to do this. All right, so Jay Smith, I hope you're watching. This is the cycle, right? Like, you've learned the cycle now. You could probably manual all the way up to 25 with this. And then what I would think about doing is getting your Walking Tomb Dragon. So we'll clear this last one, and then we'll probably be done here. Oh, did I mess it up? I did, but it was the little mess up, not the big mess up. So I think in the next stage or 2, you're going to be able to just put it on full auto. We're getting really close to the speeds. You might even, like, if you really wanted, I should have looked again. We could have dropped like another 10 speed off of Godseeker, and that might have done the trick. You'll notice Godseeker getting closer to death this time around. That will happen as you crawl up, the stages. And it may get to the point where it's like you will fail some stages potentially. And then you just need a little bit more HP on Godseeker and Eerie. You need to keep pushing that. Yeah, you're welcome. Little surprised at that max HP destruction. That's significant. And you can see here, one of the things you got to pay attention to is the cooldowns on these skills, because sometimes Godseeker's taking 1 turn and sometimes she's taking 2. So what I mean like this is, here's the cycle. So, right, she has all the cooldowns down, the boss is asleep. So we hit auto, she does the revive. Now we get the max HP nuke. Now she's going once, and that's the one that heals the max HP destruction. Now Coldheart goes, and now the boss kills Coldheart, right? So now at this point, you can see we're on a 2-turn cooldown, and the boss is on a 3-turn cooldown. So we go once, the boss goes once, we go a second time, boss goes a second time, and now we have to just do 1 turn. But sometimes we're faster and sometimes we're slower. So here I'm just manualing 1 turn, but sometimes I have to manual 2 turns, and sometimes I don't need a manual at all. So let's see what happens on this cycle. All right, we do the max HP healed, and now Coldheart dies. Okay, so here, 2 turns cooldown, 3 turns cooldown for the boss. So we auto 1, boss goes. We auto twice, boss goes. And now we turn off the auto. And okay, so that's the cycle that we're in right now. We only have to do 1 auto attack, but it's going to change halfway through the fight. And if you don't account for the change, then you're going to potentially fail the run. That's 1. We go twice. And now we have to do our 1 manual. So my guess is, like, this is probably going to hold for the next 3 or 4 cycles, and then it's probably going to break. 1, boss goes. 2, boss goes. Turn it off. We manual 1. Put it back on auto. Max hit. Coldheart dies. 1, boss goes. 2, boss goes. Manual. Die. And we're back to auto. There's a rhythm to it, but you can fall asleep to the rhythm and then you miss. It's like, oh, this is lulling me to sleep. They call him Sand Devil. This is why it's so sleepy in Sand Devil's Necropolis. Because they're just like, it's not exactly an exciting fight, right? It's kind of just, it's real rhythmic. I mean, you could say that about Clan Boss too, right? Clan Boss is very rhythmic. Click. Clack. Pop. Dead. Revive. Hit. 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 Die. Click. Clack. Pop. Dead. Revive. Big hit. 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 Die. Click. Clack. She's getting close to dying. Look how close that is. She is very close to dying. She might not be able to get past this stage with this build. All right, so we're going to one hit. Be very close. I'm going to actually have her do the heal here. Because we might get... No, we don't. Okay. I think, you know, if we use the cooldown just when it comes up, even though we're not healing the max HP, we get like further from death. So we might have to do that on occasion just to be like a little bit safer. Be a little tricky getting through this one. And this time, Cold Heart's max HP is just wrecked. You can see we were able to claw back some health. But the reason Cold Heart's max HP is so destroyed here is because Godseeker is no longer getting that turn before the Sand Devil wakes up. She used to get 2 turns before the Sand Devil woke up. And that would allow her to use the revive on turn 1 and then the heal on turn 2. And the heal on turn 2 was the big heal. It's this heal, the A2. And so that was giving her a heal during the Sand Devil's sleep cycle, which automatically returns 8 max HP. But now, watch. Now the boss wakes up. So now we're not getting that max HP return. So as a result, we're both weaker. We both. Aniri and Coldheart are both weaker than they would be. So potentially we could speed her up and that would get her more heals. Or we could slow her down and that would potentially... Could we slow her down? Well, if we slowed her down, then we would get on cycle with the cooldown. But I think what we'll hope to do here is just get through this stage manual and then see if it autos later. I think we might even have to speed her up. That's the question. Can we do this with a fast? What? The reason we would slow her down is because you can take her out of speed boots and you can put her in HP percentage boots. And that gives her a higher total. And then every regen is also going to be higher, right? So if you can find max HP boots in either the Immortal set or the Regeneration set, right? Like you can potentially put her in those or these. This has speed, so like depending on whether you need speed or not, you can do this. This would give you a lot more HP. Probably give you somewhere in the vicinity of like somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000 HP. If it's a 6-star, it's going to give you 60%, and her base HP is 14,000 right now. So that's going to give you 8,400 HP. And remember, she's not maxed out yet. She's still level 51. So what might have happened here just simply is that we've reached her cap of survivability and we need her to now be level 60. Get her up to 60. Let's see what the difference is. So 14k defense, 14k HP and 1150 defense. 14k HP and 1150 defense. So you're going to gain another 1,000 base HP, almost 1,200. And you're going to gain roughly another 100 defense. So another 1,000 HP and another 1,000 defense, which obviously all get multiplied, but also, the defense is going to be helpful in terms of the little scorpion tail hits. That's where the defense comes in. Because the big nukes ignore defense, but the little scorpion tail hits, those actually take into account the defense of the target. So if you can resist more damage during the scorpion tail attacks, then you're less likely to die because she's going to die during those attacks. That's where she's vulnerable. And then the extra 1,000 HP is probably going to translate into something like 2,800 extra HP overall. So, maybe 2.5K. So that 2K plus maybe the 8 to 9K you can get on boots, you're going to be talking about another 10 or 11,000 HP if you don't need her fast. And then when you get her up towards the top and you do need to run her fast, you can swap back to the speed boots. Remember that the reason the speed boots are beneficial, the reason the speed is beneficial is because she gets that extra turn and she gets an extra chance to heal. Now, if you watched my video initially, right, the reason that you need that extra chance to heal is because you only have the 3-star blessing, right? So you don't have 100% chance. So an extra cycle, an extra turn does two things. One is it gives you an extra tick of regen gear. So that's going to get you closer to your max HP, whatever that destroyed max HP is. Like you're going to max out and be more survivable. The second thing that it does is it gives you another opportunity on any heal to proc your miracle heal and potentially push that max HP back, destroyed max HP back a little bit. And that's just going to be better, especially if you don't have the 100%. If you ever get the 5-star and you have the 100%, you don't have to worry about that. Then you can run her slow. So the benefit of having the blessing is a reduced stat burden, right? Stat burden is significant here. You need a lot of HP, you need a lot of speed, you need a lot of defense. And it's hard to reach those thresholds, especially in regen gear, right? Like if you were trying to just reach the speed, if you could put her in speed gear, it'd be so much easier. If you're just trying to get the defense, you could put her in something else that had more defense naturally, whether it's a defense set or whatever, But here you really have to get those stats in regen and immortal. Eventually, if you get a 5-star blessing or a 6-star blessing, you could potentially remove the immortal and you could just have her in a regen set, maybe in speed. But, for a while, you're going to have to just stay in those sets. So one thing I would consider is like as you're going up, remember that you're going to want to probably switch over to Drang. Where is your Drang? Here he is. So this is another guy that you're going to want at 60. You will want War Master on him, right? You want that War Master proc. Farrakhan on 25 is fairly slow. 10 minutes is fairly slow. It's not bad. I mean, my Walking Tomb Drang on stage 25 does it in about 5 minutes. And it's a survival team, you know, so he's not dying. Anytime if you could build a nuker dies comp, that's faster because you don't have to watch the animation. Right? Because when they're dead, they don't do the attacks that basically do no damage when the boss is awake. So they're only doing the big hits when the boss is asleep, and then they die right away. So they're more efficient in terms of their damage per hit, and they don't animate. Excuse me, they don't do as many animations. So that's the better setup. For Walking Tomb Drang, you can build him both ways. It's entirely possible to build him tanky enough to survive. It's actually kind of difficult to build him so that he dies. But if you wanted to, you could. You could build him so that he dies at stage 25. The thing is, remember, he's strong affinity at stage 25. So it's actually probably easier to build him with the survival technique. Now, a couple of things about Drang. Remember, you don't need the accuracy. I forgot that. I did my whole video thinking I needed 550 accuracy. You don't need any accuracy with Walking Tomb Drang. That's why he's so friendly. He's strong affinity, no accuracy needed. So you can put all of your stats into speed and HP, and literally that's all you have to do. So that's really nice. But, you know, you could use any other damage dealer that you like that has a really good hit. You could try Newt again, maybe up at stage 25. He would actually be killed more quickly, more easily. So one of your Newts could be a little bit squishy, maybe. You know, don't build him with a massive HP pool, and just let him get killed and see what happens. Or you could go the survival route with Newt as well and see if you had a kind of tanky Newt, what would happen there. He's also strong affinity. He could potentially be very good at stage 25. I don't know. I've never tried. So, yeah. I think that's it. So, Jay Smith, I'm sorry I couldn't push further for you today, but those are the considerations. Come back, watch the video. You know, if you want to shoot me a DM in Discord, let me know what's going on. We can chat about it. But you should be able to climb with Godseeker and Coldheart. Coldheart's fine, by the way. I don't think she has to change at all. It's not going to be fast. But you need Godseeker to be more survivable. And I would say, I'll just show you. Oh, you know what? I broke my team. I was trying to get something to work on Godseeker, and I completely broke my team. So I don't even have the stats anymore. But I'm pretty sure I was over 80k on Godseeker's HP, and I think I was around 3.5k defense. Maybe even a little bit more. So, you know, with those stats, it becomes easier. And you might be able to find those stats. You know, use your glyphs. You know, make sure you keep pushing your Great Hall. You know, you can start putting, now that you've got your accuracy almost entirely where you need it, you can start going into defense or HP. I know you might want to do crit damage on some things, but you know, it's usually crit damage, defense, HP, right? You leave attack and resistance for the end. So that's what I would suggest. You have any questions before we shut this one down? Do I run into problems with Phantom Touch and War Master with some of your builds with waking Sand Devil up too fast? At some stages, yes. Yeah, at some stages where the boss was just like barely fast enough, I would wake him up too fast. That did happen. But once I got faster, then no, it wasn't a problem. Or yeah, once we got further up and the boss got faster, then it wasn't a problem because it was more like if I got an extra round and I got 2 Phantom Touches. It was that kind of thing. Or even, I don't even know if it was a huge problem. It just threw off the cycle. It did throw off the cycle. So yeah, if I got 2 turns and I got 2 Phantom Touches, I would wake him up a turn early on Godseeker and Neri, which would throw off her cooldowns, and then that would wipe my team. That happened a couple of times, but I was able to figure it out. When you manual, it's not a huge issue. Or it was at least manageable. And then once I got a few more stages up, it didn't happen again. So it did happen somewhere in like the stage 21 range or maybe 19 range, somewhere in there it happened. Can I do your account, Hawk Gaming? Sure, next Tuesday. All you got to do is speak to the wheel. Make sure the wheel loves you. All right, Jay Smith. Yeah, good luck. You got to spend some time manualing, maybe tweaking that Godseeker and Eerie, but you're close and you have the champions. So I think within, by the next CVC, you should have your stage 25 full auto. It's not going to be hugely fast. It's not going to be like fast for turn attack tournaments and stuff like that, but you'll be able to farm all of those oils really effectively for minimal investment in terms of energy because it's really efficient up there. And you even get some of those dusts, which is really nice. Okay. So we're going to shut this one down as well. Thank you to my takeovers for today. What is the target speed again for Godseeker? It depends. You can build her. So 271 is for the build that I did in my video. 271. But again, you could run her at 263 if you have the mastery. The mastery is the one in the support tree. This one. If you're running her with Spirit Haste, you can run her at 263, but you want to get her to 271. That's the fastest build that I know. I don't think you get any advantage out of building her faster than that, although, whatever. Maybe you could. You could run her at 340, maybe. I know that there are some builds. Somebody said earlier there's a build where she runs at like 311 or 312, where you can put food in. And that actually gets you to like 330 or something because you have all the food champions in Spirit Haste. And so that gives you an additional 24 and you get up, to like 335 or something. And then you actually get an extra turn in the cycle. And that changes things again. I have not experimented with that at all. I don't see any need. I would rather run her slower than faster. Although running her with food is a cool, that's a cool option. That's an efficient way to get some XP onto your champions. Yeah. Yeah, Neo, that can happen. You do have to, you got to tweak those speeds so you don't get the extra turn and wake them up early. I don't know if War Master is the issue. It might have been something else. I don't know if does War Master count as a extra hit on him? Because it typically doesn't, right? Does not count as an extra hit, but I've heard sometimes on Sand Devil it does, or somewhere it does. It might only be Sand Devil. It might be Phantom as well. I don't know. So, all right. So that is it for this one. That is also it for today. I know normally I say a little bit later on Tuesdays, but we have this really busy week. We are doing this whole video series and we're trying to finalize the details and get everything in place. And I need every hour that I can spare. So we're going to call that here for just 2 takeovers. But thanks so much to our 2 takeover contestants. Congratulations on winning your takeovers. I hope they helped. And thanks to chat for all of the suggestions and questions. I hope I'm doing better in the interactive scenario here with chat. I have made some adjustments in order to try to increase my interactivity. With Takeover Tuesdays, it's really hard because I'm so focused on problem solving. And as you can see, sometimes I get distracted by chat and then I screw up a manual fight or something. But I have been trying to get a little bit better at that. So I hope you're enjoying that. Yeah. So no Thursday stream, maybe no Sunday stream, probably no Sunday stream, but we will have a video out tomorrow. And then you'll see us hopefully on Friday or Saturday. Not exactly sure yet. One of those 2 days we'll be launching our new video series for March. And yeah, that's about it. You're all in the Discord community now. Come hang out, say hi, ask questions, post rosters, pics. There's tons of stuff going on in the Discord, so it's a great place to hang out. And by the way, we're still looking for a few members for our clans. especially the top tier clan. I think we still have a few spots there. So if you are kind of an ultra nightmare clan boss guy, or you're into brutal Hydra, that's the place to be. We're doing pretty well over there. It's a fun time. All right, so that is it for me today. Son, do you want to say goodbye to the good people?
Have a good one, everybody.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Look out, world, it's bobsled time. That is the song. Thank you, Booger. I appreciate that. All right, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you soon.